Hey there, comic friends! I'm Travis. It's time for the Comic Roundtable. And tonight I will introduce people because we got new people on, and I'll start out by introducing a new person. Tonight we have Kevin Comics with us. How's it going, Kevin?
Hey, fine, you.
Yeah, finally we get you on. We've been kind of
Finally.
missing for the last 3 or 4 weeks here. I've been kind of...
Yeah. Because usually I go out and I drink and stuff, but now I'm free.
Oh, no drinking tonight? Oh, man. Okay.
Maybe a shot, who knows?
Yeah. Okay. And also tonight we have us Luke from Luke's Batman's Reviews. How's it going, Luke?
Good, sir. How are you?
Not too bad. Not too bad. And of course we have Millie Akers with us. Millie, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
And good. Happy belated birthday to you also.
Thank you.
and also we have this Sergeant America. Mike, how's it going?
Oh, good as always.
Excellent. So we're gonna jump right in and talk some comic books. We're gonna talk DC first. I think is what we agreed upon. So,
Yeah.
what do we want to talk DC wise? Anybody got a burning? Oh, let's talk this.
Oh, Bizarro then?
Hoorah! Yes, good old
It
Bizarro.
just continues to be a strong book, and this one, I love the nods to Rayman with the going into the Las Vegas casino, making a lot of money, getting the matching suits, coming down even the escalator shot. So
Yep. I don't know. It's just a good find. I love the Raphael Albuquerque page that's in here. I mean, every issue has one page where people are. I think Mike's showing it there.
yeah, and I guess that's what I wanted to ask. Is even the Bizarro, is that part of
No.
the? No.
No, Bizarro is drawn by the artist.
And then the Hawk people are. That's the Albuquerque, then, right?
Right, Hawkman, and that's like Adam Strange, right? With the
Adam
jetpacks.
Strange. Yep.
Yeah, which looks awesome. I'd read that comic. That looks cool. I think Albuquerque outdid himself. I think there, and the fact that he tightened up his style a little bit. I think to draw that. So it looks like Albuquerque, but I don't know. There's a lot more to it than a lot of Albuquerque art is. So that was kind of fun. Yeah, it's just a fun book. I mean, it's amusing. I'm curious to see how it. Next issue is the final issue of it.
Well, and this one ends on a bad note. I mean, Bizarro takes off. He's mad at Jimmy.
Yeah, well, because he finds out that Jimmy's basically been using him.
Yeah.
Was never going to take him to Bizarro America, Canada. So it's just fun. It's more of the same. It's entertaining. I get a chuckle out of it. Probably good at 6 issues. I don't know that it could go on forever. I don't think. But a year from now, they could put out another Bizarro special, and I'd be all over it.
Yes.
Kind of thing. So.
Or anything else. I mean, the Bizarro's been great. To take this idea onto maybe some other characters, I'd be interested in just doing 6 shots of craziness with different people.
Sure.
Let's be honest. Who shed a tear when the Chupacabra went outer space?
Oh yeah, what a bummer! He's not even a real Chupacabra. He's an alien.
Yeah.
Yeah, who lost his translator. Well, I think it's funny when they're in prison, though, that he's the baddest thing in the prison. And he's like this big, and it's like, I'm not gonna fight with him. So yeah, funny stuff for sure. So Luke, talk Batman Eternal with us. So Batman and Robin Eternal. So first off, does this book actually have Bill Finger credited in it?
Yes.
Awesome.
He does. Bill Finger
Awesome.
is pretty good. This one, I'm gonna say it. It's gonna sound like it's bad, but in reality, it's not. Of the 3, it's probably the worst of the 3 so far. But it's just number 1 was just really shooting out of the gun, really good. And the second one too. But what's good about this one, I love it when Jason Todd is done right, and you get to see Jason Todd done so well. That said. He does get his ass whooped a little bit by Cassandra Cain, and rightfully as he should.
Yeah.
Because we ended up in the last page of the last issue. Basically, Jason had her like dead to rights with a gun, and then you're like, okay, it's cool and all, but we all know Cassandra Cain is a little bit better than that. And I mean, true to the character, they did stay true to her character. So even though it kind of heartened me a little bit see ass whooped a little bit. It was the right way, really the way it should have been. But he does kind of, stay true to his character, though. He does rebound a little bit, and then he's sitting there drinking beer with Dick Grayson as Grayson's kind of, woe is me, nothing's going right, and he just got his visor popped up, he's just drinking beers and whatnot. But the cannibal in Grayson, remember her?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, she big role in this issue. Well, not really a big role, but she's her implications, what she done to Spiral, kind of infiltrated that organization. That really makes me wonder what's going on in the Grayson book from here on in. But she took out all of her those little not really hypnos, but the little organisms that kind of track where you're at. Sure. Well, she removed all those little bio things like magnets and stuff like that. So that's the only twist I haven't seen yet. Obviously, because I don't think his Grayson book has come out yet. I think that's next week, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Grayson book hasn't come out since Batman and Robin Eternal started. So I'm kind of curious to see what the fallout's going to be, especially since Seeley, he wrote this issue too. He did the past two, so I'm kind of curious to see how he kind of ties in everything. But the big target at the end is Bruce Wayne. The mother is pinging on the Beacon Tower, where this organization that's having a get-together for him, and apparently a room full of people are going to go after old Brucey. But
so
it was good. Good.
Bruce is still brain damaged, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. CDC is saying that he liked the issue right up until the last 2 pages. Whatever happens in those last 2 pages, he wasn't too keen on. So
yeah, it was really the Beacon Tower. Then everyone saying "Mother, yes, Mother," and like the whole party was basically going to target Bruce.
Well, you make me nervous. You make me nervous about Grayson, which is a book I love, but I know that Tim Seeley's writing both, so hopefully that means that there's going to be some sort of. I mean, I may be lost because I'm not reading both things, but hopefully he's got some graceful way of.
That would be the only thing that you would just have to know, as I understand it right now, is just the cannibal. What's been revealed here, Poppy. Whatever she's done here, I'm assuming it's going to have implications for the Grayson book. So as long as you know that basically she turned on Dick here, I think it would be okay.
Ah, okay. Cool. Cool. Okay, Mike, let's talk Secret Six.
Secret Six.
I will defend it to the day I die.
Don't say that.
All right. The first couple pages worried me. The artwork and the, I don't know, these little demon things, whatever. It kind of scared me at first. Oh, sorry there. I let that sit a second. But then as I dug into it, because I mean this is like a big tower of Babel or whatever, and they're talking a little bit about mysticism. And then the 2 kernels are right here in the that's just an advertisement. I'm sorry. I am interested in the Flash and the 2 kernels. But as we start to get into the mystic part of it, and we see, the Phantom Stranger, we see Dead Man, we see Felix Faust. Yeah. Then I'm like, well, yeah, this is starting to feel more like what I kind of would want the book to be. This is, and then they get into this big room, and you have Swamp Thing, and you have, Blue Devil, and let me see if I can get everybody into that one. Blue Devil and Swamp Thing and Black Orchid, and it's just like every DC magician, which makes sense because this
good
is
and bad.
This is now tying back to Black Alice and how she steals from them, and how this is setting up some big cataclysm. So I mean, right there, I'm feeling really good about it. And,
yeah. And see, for me, I like the book more. I like this issue a lot more because it had all those magical people. It's got Dr. Occult in it, for gosh sake. I didn't
know. That's why I was glad that you talk about it.
Yeah. So I love it, and they give him kind of he's got more knowledge than a lot of these other superhero, supervillain types, and I like they put him in that kind of role. So I enjoyed the book much more because of that, but I'm not sure if I enjoyed the book more because Gale's finally caught her wind and is like has a direction or something with the book, or it's just the fact that it's using all these characters that I absolutely love. You could put them in any book. You could put them in an Aquaman book, and I'd be giddy over the Aquaman book. You could put them in a Deadpool book, and I'd be excited about the Deadpool book. So, right? So I don't know. For me, I don't know how much of it is.
Well, the basketball and miniature golf, that's when I realized that's the part of the book I'm not as excited about.
Her being funny. Gale being funny.
Well, it's not even that. I think it's the team. I mean, she keeps mashing this idea that the team doesn't quite get along. They're not normal. And, and I think it's the whole they're not normal. I understand they're not normal. Right. Catman, I don't know why he keeps trying to do normal things. Because Catman isn't normal.
Right. And I agree. It's the last Secret Six, the team ended up organically working together and it worked. They became kind of a thing. Here it all feels very forced, right? I mean, that whole cohesion thing. That has and from what you're saying, that hasn't been fixed in this issue, which I don't think it has either. No. This is a much more interesting story though, with the whole kind of linchpin. There's some magical thing that's happening. The magic is on the precipice of like being destroyed. A gate's going to be open, and whatever's locked behind that gate is so bad that it hasn't been seen for millennia, and all the magic people are afraid of it. And it's linked to Black Alice, Black Alice is an interesting character. So all these magic people are out to get Black Alice. So it's all the basically the magical DC universe minus like Constantine versus the Secret Six is what it looks like right now.
Yeah. Well, and I will totally agree with you. This book is so much better because she put in all these extra people. Right. Because when you get to this page with Etrigan, just there, I mean, that blew my mind. Because I even had to tweet it. I didn't want to ruin the book for anybody, but I'm just like, that was too beautiful, too big of a pop. Where he comes in, it was like liquid candy, and I'm just like, oh. And and I don't really know that much about him, but it was because he was so phenomenal in that little spot. And then it was her using him, teasing him, making us enjoy all the little bells and whistles, all the color. And so I sometimes worry. I'm not excited about the team. I'm excited about everything else.
Right. And that was funny. He shows up and he's trying to talk in rhyme, and they're like attacking him because they're freaking out because here's this big guy. They don't know who he is. They just think he's dangerous, clearly, because, I mean, he looks like something from hell. And he keeps getting whacked in the head and stuff, and he has to restart his rhymes because he keeps getting his rhymes messed up. So that's pretty funny as far as that goes. I mean, there were some good points in it. This was a better issue than some of the other issues have been. Anybody who asks me, though, Mike, should I jump back on? Or is this a place I should start? I would say, no, this is not a place. I don't think it's there yet. No. I'm just not. I'm not unhappy to have gotten this issue.
And if Big Shot would not have mentioned his wife, I think you could jump on here, because the beginning of the whole book didn't make sense. So it's fine to just go into here, just so long as you don't need a whole lot of explanation.
Right. It is a place you could jump on. Yes.
Yeah.
Would I recommend it? No. Me
Probably
personally.
Not. Me personally. But I do, like I said, I will defend it. It was a much better issue than what we got.
Yeah, we'll see when we get in a few, and as long as they don't reintroduce the Joker as somebody other than the Joker, and something like that, like they do with the Riddler.
Yeah.
Okay. What other DC books do we want to talk about?
Talk about Black Canary.
Sweet. Ooh. I'll talk Black Canary. What do you think, Luke?
Not bad. I'm really curious. I think I have a theory about the ninja. I think it's kind of maybe a little obvious now. I don't know. I don't know if I should bring it up.
Go ahead.
You think cloning? You thinking cloning?
You think it's
a clone,
basically?
Yeah.
That's what I thought to start with. I mean, she has bangs. That's the difference, right, between the two. He doesn't have bangs, and the clone does, I think. Or clone, I guess we should call it clone. Anyway, the ninja. That was my... I don't know cloning, but she certainly looks exactly like her, right? I mean, that was and she's taking a blood sample from her.
Yeah, that's what kind of really drew me through, is that they're taking blood. I was like, looks alike, and then now we're drawing blood. I was like,
Yeah, so I mean, you look at the characters, they look, I don't know, well, that's going to pick up, but I mean, this is the ninja we're talking about, dressed in white, and let's see if I can find, and then there's a picture of her, picture of Black Canary. They just look an awful lot the same.
Oh,
Well, I guess they both have bangs.
Well, and it makes sense, isn't that both Sarah and Laura Lance?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Luke, I'm sorry.
Don't you dilute my comic book with some TV show. Nice.
No, but it was good. Man, they must have a really crummy manager to blow out their money, so they can't get a hotel. They go camping.
Well, the manager's with them, right? Well, and they lose all their money. They lose all their money because Black Canary wrecks everything. Every place they play at, somebody attacks them in some way, and she destroys everything. I mean, I know a lot of people aren't real keen on the book, and there's some people who are down on it, thinking it's kind of a dumb storyline or whatever. I'm enjoying the heck out of it for just what it is.
Oh yeah, there's nothing wrong with it.
I like the character treatment. I like the battle of the bands. I love all these bands that show up. They're ridiculous names. They're crazy punk looks and whatnot, and the fact that it's Maeve at the end of it, who was the lead singer of Black Canary before, Black Canary showed up, and at the end of it, it's a big giant battle of the bands. I'm perfectly happy with that. I love the coloring of the book. I love the artwork. Yeah. This issue is another issue that's done by Pierre Guerrero, and I think she does a great job. She's not quite as she's much cleaner. Her artwork is cleaner than Cho's is. It's not quite so visceral, but I still really enjoy it, and I just I like it. It's a $2.99 book, and I just get a kick out of this. I know it's probably not going to last. I would guess at some point this character goes back to being something else, but I actually find this book more fun than the Batgirl book, and I get both.
Oh yeah.
And I don't dislike the Batgirl book either. But I have more fun just reading this one, and I don't take it very serious. I just read it and have a good time with it. So.
I'm curious what the record labels got going on. I think it was hinted that
that they got them together for more reason than just here's a band and you'd be a great you'd be a great lead. Yeah, there's something else going on there. Yeah, agreed. I'm liking it. Issue 5. Cool. What else? I got Martian Manhunter.
Martian Manhunter?
Oh.
I don't have Brandon here talking with me about it. Martian Manhunter, issue number 5. Still really digging this book. Kind of confirmed what we've suspected about Martian Manhunter, that he's actually split himself up amongst a whole bunch of people, and always has been split up amongst a bunch of people. Those parts are all pulling themselves back together again, all trying to gather at one place, because some mystics, there's actually mystic people on Mars, or was part of the Martian race, was these, kind of magic users of sorts. They created some massive curse spell that says that only one potent sentient life can exist in the solar system at one time, basically. That's why you haven't seen very many Martians, because somehow Earth and humans kind of got the ball, and they've been running with it. Well, now Mars is going to take it back, and they basically are beaming some powerful weapons down to Earth, and they're going to take over Earth. And Martian Manhunter has to figure out how to pull himself back together again without becoming a weapon, because he was a living weapon, and another reason why he split himself apart was to keep from becoming a weapon for the Martians. So he's got to figure out how to pull himself back together again and defeat the Martians, basically. Really cool, because you got all these different personalities that are all Martian Manhunter, but they're all completely different. There's a girl in here who they've shown since the beginning. She's Arabic, and seemed to be kind of a stealthy thief kind of a person. She's an aspect of Martian Manhunter, and she tries making out with Aquaman in this issue, which is pretty funny, because he recognizes that she's an aspect of Martian Manhunter. I mean, she just sees Aquaman as this hunky guy, that she's like gaga over him. And she can't recognize that she's part of this aspect of Martian Manhunter, so it's pretty funny. I mean, she's Pearl, she's not Martian Manhunter, and she's going to keep insisting on that. This is kind of funny, her. her smooching on Aquaman. He's like, I'd like to help you, John, but I don't know if I can help you this way, kind of a thing. So, which is
Well,
pretty
I
fun.
read up till issue 3 actually
Uh-huh.
of Martian Manhunter, and I just dropped up for no reason.
Yeah.
And I remember the character Biscuit.
Yes, Biscuit, Mr. Biscuits. He's still in
And
here.
I actually enjoyed that character.
He's
Funny.
hilarious.
Oh yeah.
He's hilarious because in this, he's been cut in half, so he's in 2 pieces.
Oh.
And he's in 2 duffel bags, and they're trying to go through the airport. And so they're running Mr. Biscuits through the airport, terminal scanners.
Yeah.
And the TSA, and of course, they're using their telepathy to make themselves look like just baggage and stuff. But it's just funny, the conversation that's going on during it and stuff. So, and the little girl that's in this is just cool. And she's fun in this issue too. I really digging it. The art's great. By Barrows, fun book.
Maybe I'm gonna pick up 4 and 5 though right now because you talk about it.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I picked up the first 4 issues when I was down in Maryland at Third Eye Comics. I haven't read them yet, but I'm waiting to get issue 5 because my shop ran out this week.
Oh, it's cool. It's cool. There's a lot of surprises. There's a lot of surprises I haven't talked about that are in it. It's cool. I'm really liking it, which is good. Need a good Martian Manhunter book. What else? Any other DCs? Luke, what do you got? I know you're probably sitting on 2 or 3 more, right?
Yeah, I got a couple more. Let's talk my pick of the week. Arkham Knight Genesis. This, there's gotta be a way. We can't decide it, but this needs to be like the canon origin of Red Hood, because it takes what they did with Under the Red Hood and Death of the Family, and push it like way. Basically, we find out kind of the fallout from last issue that there was a big building collapse. Batman thinks Jason is dead, but apparently Jason and Joker survive, and Joker grabs him and he drags him down to Arkham Asylum where he's put in his chair. And if you played the game, you kind of see this in the game, where all you see in the game is him tied up in the chair and he has the Joker or the J imprinted on his face, and then what appears to be this Joker kind of talking to him, but you actually see what happened. And what happened is he had him down in the bowels of Arkham Asylum for 6 months. And he had him tied to this chair and he's just feeding him basically crap food. And then he kind of worked, the Joker kind of worked like a drug deal with one of these guards, where every once in a while he would go down to the basement and just beat on Jason. And then like all the members from like the Rogues Gallery, like Bane, Zaz, they all come down and just pound on him. So for like 6 months he's just getting pounded and beaten. He's just sitting there in this chair this whole entire time, and he's literally just being kept alive by eating like crap food. And the best part about it is that really shows you how Jason really is what he is. Oh, by the way, as this is happening, Joker's showing pictures of Batman with Tim, like, hey, he already moved on, didn't even check for you, so he's getting beaten physically and mentally at this point. And you just really see how that can really jack someone up mentally, and kind of how Jason is the way he is. And whereas you saw like Under the Red Hood, it's like, yeah, I mean, you got killed by Joker, Batman didn't kill Joker, fair enough. But you get this, you're like, wow. I mean, if you just kind of, it's kind of weird saying put yourself in that position because it's comics and all, but just imagine just the mental trauma. Ugh. And it was gruesome. They showed a lot of stuff. Just Joker's just out of bounds. It was just, like I said, it really did kind of put some stuff in perspective of the game. If you've been playing the game, you get the whole point of the chair scene. You're like, okay, now I know what happened. But then it's just a really good Jason Todd origin story, Red Hood origin story. So
cool.
Just,
how often does that book come out?
It's once a month.
All right.
Monthly. It's a 6-issue mini, and it's. I mean, Arkham Knight. The title has been good, but this has been better. And Tomasi doing great things. So
cool.
Next, got Justice League.
Mm.
We have Manapool and Bucciolato doing the art in this one. Paybacks took a break. It was good art. I kind of talked about it today, kind of being somewhat of a filler issue, but it was more, I think, kind of the launch, because they got these one-shots that are coming up.
Right.
Yeah, it really kind of gives you a recap or an introduction of all the people who are now gods in the Justice League. So it kind of launches into these one-shots. But Lex Luthor, oh boy, he's a god now.
Yeah, nice.
Basically, people thought that he's up there in Apocalypse that they had this preacher basically saying, when Darkseid dies, there's going to be a human who's walking Apocalypse, and he's given a description and it fits, Superman, from Kansas, lives on a farm, stuff like that. But Superman's already gone because he basically told Luthor, "Hey, come back to Earth and you're done." So Luthor is the one that this group comes across, and they say, "Hey, are you this person we're talking about?" And Luthor obviously goes, "Yeah, that's me." But it turns out that kind of give the test, they tie him down, and then the Omega effect, the power of Darkseid, is going to come back to Apocalypse since Darkseid's gone, and it's going to funnel into Luthor. And it kind of makes me wonder, because the thing was, if you're lying, you're going to die. The Omega effect's going to kill you. If you're telling the truth, you're going to become a god. And he becomes this god, and you know how Luthor is to begin with.
Right.
Imagine him being a god. That's what he looks like now. It's something. So Shazam, he's a god now. He's a god of gods, and it was really explained in like a panel. I was like, that was kind of a throwaway. This was good. The art was beautiful.
Just kicking myself not having got back on Justice League. I swear I'm not going to get back on until Jeff Johns is gone, because I just think he's kind of writing a tired story. But this whole thing sounds really, really cool.
It was. It is. This has been a really good event. Like I said, that's really all that really happened. So it did feel kind of a filler, but still, just what they did with Luthor, you're like, oh, crud.
Well, because they wanted Batman to give up the chair, and he was like,
Oh, he still has a chair. And he's basically, I'm going to go back to Gotham and use it.
Yeah, and then, because he even convinced Hal Jordan to leave, because he said that his planet would be attacked, and...
Yeah, that basically when they were up there, and I always get this confused. Okay, the Syndicate, is that Earth 3 or 33? 3. So they were Earth 3 looking for what Darkseid and Animon are doing. But basically now that Darkseid's gone, these power forces, whatever, now can roam free, and they're targeting the light or whatever. So basically Green Lantern Corps is going to be their target. So that's why Batman's like, yeah, you might want to go there, because I'm going back to Gotham and using this chair for good use, and lack of better terms. So, but it was good. It was very good.
Sounds cool.
Yeah. Got Gotham Academy, number 11. Finally, we find out. For those who were like reading like the first 10 issues, I hate to even bring this up, but you almost have to. We do find out now what's up with Olive.
Oh, finally.
Her mother, finally, why she was there, put into Gotham Academy. Basically, her mother is in a line. Her whole family's basically, God, I forget, Calamity Jane, the fire starter. The whole family has been Calamity Jane, basically. So people think that it's, genetic or whatever. So basically, to prevent that from happening, they're going to put her in Gotham Academy and kind of observe her and whatnot. But Red Robin,
yeah,
and
that makes perfect sense. She might be an out of control fire starter, so let's put her amongst a bunch of other kids. Yeah.
and the guidance counselor just happens to be Hugo Strange, So. Sure.
Oh, of course. Oh, yeah, what a nightmare.
Yeah, Tim Drake is in here. You'll love that.
Oh, see, now you lost me.
But it was good. I mean, I'm kind of just rushing through it. It finally does come together. There are some things that were found and kind of put them together. It's a key that goes back to Arkham Asylum. People following us through there. There's a tunnel between that goes from Gotham Academy to Arkham Asylum with Killer Croc there. So we're going to revisit that. But it finally feels that while it's been a fun ride, it just things that I'm going to say, like all the pieces were kind of like this floating thus far in the story, but now everything finally came together. You're like, okay, finally we got it. We get the point with everything. So, and this cover too, it kind of reminded me of the Batman and Robin, the first issue. That cover, it kind of reminded me of that, because that's literally Tim Drake calls her Robin because of the batarang that Damian gave her, and there's the We Are Robin movement that's going on. So that was nice. So art's beautiful. So. And last one I got. Anyone else have any more? I'm sorry, I just clogged up the DC time.
Nope, you're the DC guy. Go ahead.
All right. I did get Wonder Woman. I know this is not a fan favorite here. Not bad. It's Donna Troy finally snapped at the very end. What to say what Diana was trying to get her to do, trying to be the right type of person, actually backfires in this case. Her actually doing the right thing, actually gets someone killed who shouldn't have been. And the only thing this story arc it kind of makes me scratch my head is this kid. I forget the kid's name, but he's basically a spoiled little brat who wants to become a god, and he comes from a family of gods, whatnot. And just when he doesn't get his way, he just pouts in a really just annoying way. He's like, I want to be a god. Well, good for you. But it wasn't bad. Now, I do not know much of my Wonder Woman history, not much. So I don't know who the character Irene is, Eirene, the god of peace, whatever. But we finally find out who's the person who's been kind of orchestrating things behind the scene. Wonder Woman gets her ass whipped a little bit by that kid. I mean, she gets pummeled pretty good.
Well, she lets him beat on him, right? I mean, it's not like she's not
she
fighting
kind of
back.
restrained. Yeah, she's restraining herself from going off on this kid, and it's the same kind of thing she was going with Donna Troy. It's kind of like, I can take you down, but hey, let's kind of talk us through. You don't want to do this, so I don't know. I just know a lot of people don't like this, and to me, it's not bad. I didn't read the Azarello Chang run, so I'm sure it's definitely gonna be a culture shock, I guess, from those who are following it. So.
Well, I can judge that. What I read of the Finch's run of Wonder Woman, I can judge it not just against that last Ariza one, which I thought was fabulous. I know not everybody did, but going back against Gail Simone's run on Wonder Woman, going against Rutka's run on Wonder Woman, going against Perez's run on Wonder Woman. Yeah, it's just awful. For me, I don't like the art. I don't like the way the story is told. I don't like the New 52 Wonder Woman. One thing I don't like about her is her penchant for relying on weapons. That drives me crazy. Wonder Woman doesn't need a weapon. That's window dressing for her. It's not what she needs. But you almost don't ever see a fight scene with her now where she's not, popping those silly blades out of her.
Oh, it looks cool, man. A blade.
Yeah. If you're Wolverine, it looks cool.
Well, Wolverine's not gonna take off a sword.
Yeah, but Wonder Woman doesn't need that. She just, can punch her hand through your face if she needs to. I don't know. That bugs me.
Well,
and I hate that costume. I hate that costume too.
Well, that would be kind of a boring comic if you just one punch everyone.
But it's silly for her to pull out a sword to fight you, though, too. To me, that's just. So why don't we give Superman a sword too?
That would be great.
They heard you. They're going to do it now, Travis.
I know. He'll get an axe. He has to have something bigger than a. Well, lightsaber, I'd read that. That at least makes some sort of sense.
But this is coming from someone, me.
Sure.
Didn't really read much Wonder Woman, so I don't have that perspective. Now, Finch, Meredith, again, I have never read anything with her. And Dave, his art, I like. He has little quirks to it sometimes, where I just Sayef, he has great art, but he shades too much. Finch, his faces kind of rub me the wrong way sometimes, but again, I think it's okay, but I definitely see people who obviously have a lot more knowledge invested than I do might be kind of frustrated, because it's not like one of my favorites,
right?
But I think it's okay.
Yeah, you're enjoying it. That's what counts.
Right.
I just know I won't be picking it up until they're gone. So.
It's also too. It's one of those things where, to me, it's Wonder Woman, Superman, Batman, the Trinity.
Right.
It's a DC fan myself. I just think I should read it.
Right. I get that, and I would, but I'm trying to speak with my money.
Right. Oh, and I got that.
Not get it. That way, they change the thing so I can go back to getting it, kind of a thing. So, yeah. Okay. Cool.
And I'm spent.
Okay. So, DC news. I can't think of anything off the top of my head other than Monday. This Monday is season premiere of Supergirl.
Yeah.
So I know I'll be checking that out.
What time does that start?
CBS. It is at 8:30. It's on after Big Bang Theory. So Big Bang Theory is what? It's whatever time it comes on. So it comes on. It's on because
is it a half hour or is it an hour?
No, it's an hour long. It's going from what would be, at least in my time zone, is from 8:30 to 9:30, and then the show Scorpion is an hour and a half long. It's 90 minutes, going from 9:30 to 10.
Wow, and Gotham starts at 9. Wow, that's kind of weird.
Well, that way you get started watching Supergirl and you forget to switch over and watch Gotham, right? Of course, little do they know, almost all of us own DVRs, and we just record one of them or two or whatever.
Yeah, right.
I go right on the internet.
But you just would think, even though it's two different stations, you would, I don't know if DC would kind of stipulate something against that.
Yeah, no, DC doesn't care. If that was the case, they wouldn't put them on the same night.
That's what I'm saying. You would think, but oh well, it's not.
Yeah.
If they have any say at all.
It's a mistake from them, probably.
Yeah, I doubt it. But like I said, I'm looking forward to that. That's I can't think of anything else DC wise that's.
I'm finally caught up on Flash, and I'm enjoying it. I really like Jay Garrick in the series, so it's been pretty good. But I did not see any DC news, so nothing much.
Either. Okay, so we want to talk Marvel books, or we want to talk independent books? What do you want to talk?
Marvel books.
Let's talk Marvel books. Okay.
Oh yeah.
What do you got, Kevin?
Let's start with Amazing Spider-Man issue 2.
Oh,
nice.
A classic, you know. Spider-Man fan myself really enjoy this one. The only problem is, personally, what I thought would happen is after the Secret War, which is not over yet, it would restart everything, like from zero. But in this comic, there's like some flashback from the other time, so I'm still confused with what the heck is going on. But other than that, I really enjoy the costume. The flashing thing, I think it's quite nice.
So we're kind of getting from these books we're starting to read, like with Spider-Man, where they're remembering back to the prior 8 months ago or whatever. I don't know how they refer to it in there. The books that I read this week, they all kind of refer back, 8 months. You know, it's kind of blurry, but there's some sense to that. So not everything's gone, right? We pretty much confirmed the world wasn't erased and we're starting all over again. So for those books that we were kind of curious about, is this stuff going to carry over? Hopefully it does.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the Spider-Man, right? Parker is part of the 1% now, right? He's a
poor. I forget his name.
Tony Stark.
Yeah,
Tony
he's a
Stark.
poor Tony Stark.
Yeah.
So he's only worth like what, $50-60 million as opposed to $1 billion, right?
And we say poor. It's literally he takes a pay cut. Literally he takes. He don't accept money as much. He makes sure it goes to the poor people. So he's amongst the common folk. Just has power.
So he's in charge of some multi-conglomerate right now.
Yeah.
But he gives his paycheck away literally to the poor. I mean,
he literally just makes like a normal wage. He doesn't accept anything. He don't live all the excess money. It goes somewhere else. It goes.
So he's one of those eccentric millionaires that just. I mean, because as much as he's living like the poor people, anytime he wanted to, he could liquidate assets and have whatever he wants.
Oh,
he
could
go drop the cash to buy a Bentley anytime he wanted to.
Right. If he
now we got the Spider-Mobile, so you know.
Oh, is that back?
Yeah,
back. She's got the Doom Buggy.
Yeah, the Spider-Mobile, yeah.
Is it the Doom Buggy?
No.
No?
Like a sweet car made by the S.H.I.E.L.D, I think.
Nice.
So yeah.
Is there anything different with his suit now? Because I see it's got that glow. Is there anything physically that's different?
He's got like a bracelet, which when he press on it, that's the costume. It like appears on himself.
Oh.
It's like his new Parker technology kind of stuff.
All right.
Cool. So he doesn't have to go find a phone booth to.
Yeah, and right now he got like this new bodyguard, which I don't even know who that guy is.
Yeah.
But basically, there's like Peter Parker, and the best way for him to let people that know that he's not Spider-Man, he has another one who has the Spider-Man costume. So Parker got Spider-Man has a bodyguard, so Peter Parker can't be Spider-Man because Spider-Man is his bodyguard.
All right.
And that guy is let's see, this guy right here. They're like both. So that's Parker, and that's like his quote-unquote bodyguard. But he also has it's a superhero as well. So he has like his own costume, and then he put on the Spider-Man costume too.
Huh? Throw people off. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So for instance, I think Spider-Man was in Indonesia. Parker was in Indonesia, but the Spider-Man bodyguard was still in New York City. So people thought Spider-Man was still in New York City, but in fact it was in Indonesia. I think it's a very cool addition to that, and I don't know what's going on with Mary Jane, because there's rumors she's gonna be with Stark.
Yeah.
So
she's on the cover, right? She's on the cover of one of the upcoming issues, right?
We still didn't see her in the Spider-Man comic.
Yeah,
no Mary Jane.
Yeah, I think she's Iron Man's assistant right now. She kind of replaced
Pepper Potts, right?
Potts, yeah.
Well, yeah, very interesting. If you're a Spider-Man fan, I think you should check that one. For now, you know, I haven't picked up Spider-Man 2099 Silk and other that because there's so much Spider-Man title right now.
Yeah.
The Web Warriors, but I'm much more excited about. I saw like a marketing ad in the other Spider-Man one, a Spidey comic, which is gonna talk about him when he was a teenager. So it's back in the day, and I'm more excited about the Spidey comic than the Amazing Spider-Man actually.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Maybe they're gonna change his origin or something. Who knows?
And what issues of the Amazing Spider-Man is that? Is that one or?
That's two.
Two?
Yeah, they release it every 2 weeks, I think.
Oh God!
At least
don't say that.
At least for this first month, right? This is one of those Marvel books that for the first month they put 2 out.
Yeah. It was a super size issue, but
who was on art?
Size.
Who was on art on that one?
The art is
Kamikoli? Whatever. The covers are Alex Ross.
Right.
Common Coley.
Okay. Not familiar with that. Okay.
Yeah, but the first one was like a super size.
Yeah.
Quote, because it was like half a comic, and the other half was a preview of all those Spider-Man titles.
Right. So you paid an extra $1 for 20 pages of ads.
$1? No. It was $6.99.
Oh, extra $2.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I wasn't quite happy when I finished, like at the middle of the story.
Sure.
I was like, oh my god, are you serious?
Yeah, I can imagine. I would be more than irritated. Wow. Cool. Okay, what else we got? Millie, what do you got? What have you been reading?
Ant-Man. It's back.
I didn't read Ant-Man before, but I thought, people are talking great about it, so I thought. And
I almost took it.
It has people on it from the Superior Foes of Spider-Man, so I thought, well, this will be fun. I'll jump on and get a good chuckle.
And for #1, they didn't jack up the price, also.
Yep, $3.99. But well, it's kind of expensive, but.
I'm kind of surprised they didn't boost the price because of the movie. So.
Yeah.
Usually they boost the price because they had the movie about it. People will know that character.
Right. I still think even with the movie, Ant-Man is still kind of a lower level character. But I don't know. I still really enjoyed this. I think it was a solid first issue. Again, like with the other Marvel books that are going on right now and starting up, I find it really strange that we're seeing like mentions back to before Secret Wars, like the series that happened before Secret Wars took over. It confuses me so much, especially since I'm reading Secret Wars and it's not over yet and don't know what the state of that book is and everything. But I still really enjoyed it. I love Scott Lang as a character, so I feel like I was going to enjoy it anyway. And I think Nick Spencer has a really solid voice for him. I feel like the humor is there, and it's kind of like Scott Lang is kind of not always the best talker. Like, he kind of doesn't know what to say sometimes, or he says things that are just like, why would you say that? But I still really enjoyed it. The only thing that I feel like was missing from this issue from the previous series is that we don't really see Scott Lang and Cassie Lang, his daughter, interacting. It's because in this new series at least, Scott Lang is kind of staying away from Cassie because of what happened in the last series. He was she was attacked by these villains, and her heart was literally like taken out of her body. So he's kind of staying away from her, and I miss the dynamic between the two of them because I really enjoy the relationship, and it was one of the things I was really enjoying about the book was their relationship. So I do feel like that's a part that's kind of missing from this new issue. So.
Well, and potentially sounds like it's not going to be here. I mean, he's actively making it a point of making sure that he stays estranged from her. I mean, he's following her around, but he is not having any interaction with her. And I remember you guys talking about that, in videos, that there was that and it's clearly not in this issue, at least. I don't know.
Yeah, it was a very strong part of the book was the relationship between the two, because I think they have a great relationship. Probably, I think it's, in my opinion, one of the best father-daughter relationships in comics. So it saddens me that it's not there in this issue, but I still really enjoyed it. Excited to see where it goes, especially since Darla Deering is on the cover for the next issue, and I really liked her in FF.
Yes.
So, excited about that, and also the kind of big announcement at the end of the book did not see that coming.
Right.
So I'm excited where it goes, and I enjoyed it. I like Scott Lang, so
you bring up Darla Deering. I'm really curious if they're going to carry over with them having had a relationship, because in FF they were a couple. I mean, they were a pretty hot and heavy couple. So I'm curious to see what that. I mean, is she the jilted ex-girlfriend now? I mean, the cover kind of implies that, but this cover is misleading as all heck, because the reasons I ordered this, silly me, I saw that cover and I went, oh, look at those. It's got the female, Beetle in it and stuff. Some of the, the Sinister Six people. I thought, oh, this is gonna be awesome. He's there with his fingers crossed. So clearly, maybe he's, oh yeah, I'm a villain, but really I'm not. And I was waiting for that whole dynamic, because like I said, for me, Spirit Foes, Nick Spencer's Spirit Foes was hilarious. I loved that book. It had some really keen human messages in it, but then had all this like humor all over the top of it that was just great. So I kind of was going into this expecting that. For me, there's a little bit in here, and I think that I would have enjoyed this more if I had read the stuff prior to this, because then this just goes right along. Not that I was confused. I mean, it explains everything in here that I would need to know to what's going on. And I see a little bit of that humor in this book, but like I said, I think I would have enjoyed it more if I had read the stuff prior to it. I'm going to keep reading for now. It was fun. I suspect with the way this issue ends, because one of the things that happens in this issue is there's a guy who has an app called Henchman or something like that is what the app is called. So if you're a bad guy and you need some henchmen because the superhero's bugging you, you hit this app, you put in who it is that's bothering you, what superhero's bothering you, and this app has an algorithm that will figure out what villain is the best villain to go and take care of that hero that's close. And in this case, he's doing a demonstration, and they pull up Whirlwind, right? It's Whirlwind, right?
Yeah.
Comes after Ant-Man. Well, of course, he's trying to run a security firm, so he's at this museum going, oh, yeah, we can protect you and whatnot. His ex-wife's new husband? Is he a husband or just boyfriend? Husband is there as a police liaison at the same time. So clearly it's already awkward as all could be, The guy hates Lang. And, of course, Whirlwind shows up, perfect timing to wreck the place with him inside of it, kind of a thing. And I don't know. There's some funny moments in it, for sure. Looking forward to seeing where it goes.
So the guy with the henchman app, was that the purple guy that was in there?
Yes. Has the metallic jaw?
Yeah. All right. I kind of flipped through it, and that's why I was trying to figure it out. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one part I really enjoyed was when he sends Whirlwind after Ant-Man, and he's like saying, "This is just a demonstration, so I'm gonna call him off now." Rowan's like, cancel? What? I was just about to, 3 new followers. Like,
Right.
you get followers if you go and attack these heroes and stuff. And because it actually records you attacking the hero so that the people can see that you're doing your job and that kind of thing. And I just thought that was really funny. Also, I really liked the panel where Cassie is talking to her mom, and it does a little throwback to the original Young Avengers. I love that. That was a highlight for me. So. I missed that
Easter
team
egg.
so much. Yeah, I missed that team so much. That was really nice to see. So.
Pretty cool.
But yeah, I do miss the Cassie and Scott relationship. I hope it comes back eventually, just because I think it's a great relationship. But still really enjoyed it. So I'll for sure be adding that to my pool.
What else, Mike? What'd you read Marvel-wise?
Well, I've been gushing about it the whole time. So Weird World. I was really hoping.
Is this the final issue?
This final issue, yeah. So I was hoping CDC was going to be on here to talk. There was a lot of craziness. I mean, he's going through Weird World, and so it was one random crazy adventure after another because it was about how much chaos is in his life right now because he's trying to find Polmac. He can't, and it's driving him crazy. They last ended it with him just about ready to take his life, and then you see that Polmac is actually underneath Weird World. So it's like, an upside down top. So it's on both sides. So, it was this really great story. Morgan Le Fay goes after him, and everybody that he has met in his travels comes back. So Chrysler was there from the toys. The Man-Things are there. Even Scully Dave. And so it was really nice to see that all this was actually tied up in this last issue. It was very smart because I think it was Jason Aaron, and so I always talk about how much I like his stuff. Of course, Mike Del Mundo art and the coloring in this is just phenomenal. So it's just one big war. It was just one guest star after another shows up. They get it into a big fight. Where there's even this double splash page of just beauty and art orgasm, and so it was just one of those things that. I just loved it, and it was so great. They do show towards the end what happens to Battle World. So I'm just going to let everybody know it's a spoiler.
Spoiler!
Spoiler! I won't... Okay.
And boom! That's what it is. So, it was interesting, because he's talking about it. He's like, I'm going to go home. I'm going to win this war. He goes, little known to me, though, and then they show the explosion, which is great because then all of a sudden they show the Bermuda Triangle, there's a plane crashing, and it's going to land on Weird World. And I think that's where it brings the new young girl who's going to be the new hero of Weird World in. So they didn't show...
Because we had some debate on what Weird World was going to be. We kind of thought it was going to be the Black Knight comic for a while, but Weird World itself is its own book. As an ongoing, right?
I think there's 2, yeah. So there's going to be this young lady in Weird World with like 1 or 2 other people to help her out.
And I'm getting that one because Mundo's on that one for art. So.
And then the Black Knight, that he is going to go to Weird World. He gets attacked by the Avengers because of the curse on his blade, and so he's lost. And that's what Weird World draws these lost people in. So, it's almost like the TV show Lost. Yeah, there's something wrong with your life. You get sucked into this world. And it's trying to fix what's wrong in your life, and then right when you're about to get it. So,
nice.
It was a great story. I definitely recommend everybody pick it up and trade.
Yeah, I'm going to.
Yeah,
for sure.
I'm double dipping, so.
But on big Mundo splash pages like that make it worth it and nothing else. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can't imagine how Del Mundo pulls this off, And his anchor. I mean, his the person does his colors and that.
Can you show the cover again? It looks like...
Yeah. So there is Airrock, and he's the barbarian. So it's great. I mean, it is a wild story of tech mech and magic and all that. So it's just been this beautiful story, And I don't know. I don't know how Jason Aaron can pull so much of this off. It worked out great. I mean, hopefully he had this idea for a while. If not, he's just phenomenal to think of this up for Secret Wars.
Cool. Very cool. What else?
If we
What
want to
else we
go
got?
from a kind of a great book to a kind of meh book, Star Wars Shattered Empire issue 4. Gosh. I don't know if it's because it was a 4-issue miniseries and they tried to do, like, tie all these different things together before the new movie comes out, but this series just really hasn't been hitting the mark for me. And
Is this the one Rucka's writing?
yes, and Chichetto on art. And actually, I was happy though because Chichetto did the whole issue this time. Like the past 2 issues, it's been, I think issue 2 is like 2 other artists besides Chichetto, and last issue was someone else in Chichetto. This issue is finally all him, which was great because his art is fantastic. But that's kind of unfortunately like the really good part of this book. I don't know. It's just so this issue.
What's the ending?
I don't even know if I want to like. Oh God. So this issue we finally get Luke Skywalker, which I guess is nice. It takes place pretty much right after where the last issue ended, which ended really like it wrapped everything up. So I was really wondering where this issue was going to go. But it turns out Luke needs another pilot to help tie up this last loose end. So he gets our character, Lieutenant Bay. He kind of sends R2 to get her, and he makes a comment. He said, "I sent R2 to find me a pilot, and here you are. Interesting." So I don't know if there's. I think there's traces of like the Force in her, and also we found out in issue 2, I think, that her son is. Oh God, I'm drawing a blank on the name. Oh gosh, the new character in Star Wars, the new movie, not Poe.
I don't know.
BB-8?
Yeah, BB-8.
Chewbacca.
But her son, it's been hinted at that he has the Force, and in the newest trailer he was wielding like a lightsaber and stuff, so
Right.
I think that there's traces of the Force in her, and that's how kind of R2 was able to get her to come to Luke and that kind of thing. So that was kind of interesting. But basically, Luke takes Bay to this Imperial base where they're holding literally these plants. There's these 2 trees, and for some reason they're important. They don't explain why. I guess it's because they have the Force in them. I don't know. But there is some pretty cool scenes. Yeah, there is some pretty cool scenes where like Luke, when the Imperial forces kind of say like, you can't be these people that you're posing as to come infiltrate the base because the person that Lieutenant Bay is posing as, like her left eye is gone, so it can't be her. So they like pull out their guns. And they're like, "What are you doing here?" So it's a pretty cool scene where Luke like pulled out his lightsaber, and just Marco Cichetto's art is just really fantastic on this series. So that was awesome. We get a few pages of Luke using like the Force and everything to battle some people, and then like these 2 pages here where he's battling people and just like chaos ensues and everything. That was just really awesome. Like I said, the art is like the highlight in this book. But they get these 2 trees, and I don't know, it's just weird. He's like, of course, one of them is spoken for, but if you want to take this other one, and this is a spoiler for the end of the book, but if you want to take this other one and give it a good home, I would be okay to that. So she takes this tree and plants it in her home, and her husband's there, and they're like, "Let's go home," and I don't, it just...
Wow.
That's it. Just...
The first issue was just the party basically right after the events of Return of the Jedi and them supposedly beating the Imperial forces and everything. Second, third issue was them leading up to this battle where they fight against the Imperial forces and apparently tie up all loose ends. And in this issue, it's like, oh, we have more loose ends to tie up, and we tie them up all nice and tidy. And I don't know, it's just...
Wow. Huh. And for that to be a Rucka book is really surprising. I mean, there's just so few books that he's written that fail for me that just sounds...
Yeah, I don't know. And like I said, I don't know if it's because it's just a 4-issue miniseries, they're trying to do like so much in just these 4 issues, or if it was just the story was just lacking. And I don't know. It just sometimes it didn't feel like a Star Wars book, other than there was like lightsabers and space battles and stuff. It just
right. Why tell that? Why tell that story?
And like there were,
basically.
And there were some like references to, like, I think in the third issue, there's references that Leia has the Force and it's awakening inside her. I think there's like a panel of her standing. She says she feels cold, and then like a silhouette of like Darth Maul comes up. So I don't know. Like there's some hints that show that like the Force is awakening in all these characters, but that's pretty much it. And I guess Star Wars: The Force Awakens. So there you go. But yeah, this compared to the regular Star Wars book, it doesn't even compare.
From a shrubbery.
The regular Star Wars book is just fantastic, and I'm not reading Darth Vader, but I hear good things about that as well, and this just not hit the mark for it. I'm really disappointed in the series. Yeah.
Oh.
I think that's the first time I've ripped a book on the show.
Awesome.
It's the first time for everything.
That's right. Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
What else? What else do you want to talk about?
I picked up Karnak, issue 1.
Sweet.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, brother! Okay.
Right
I wasn't quite sure to pick up that one, but the comic shop owner convinced me to pick up that one. And I got to say, man, this cover is beautiful.
Yeah.
I really love like this chroma kind of stuff. And a friend of mine who actually worked a lot of Photoshop, he saw that cover and he was like, that's gorgeous.
Yeah.
And just the cover is beautiful, but let's go for the story now. It's a Inhuman story. Karnak is like the third Inhuman. Is that, if I'm right? That's what the guy told me. There's like Black Bolt, Medusa, and Karnak, which is like the big like chief.
Yeah. As far as the hierarchy goes.
Yeah. Of the Inhuman race. I wasn't a fan of Inhuman. I've read like the Inhuman issue 1 when it first relaunched in like 2014. I dropped that one, but I personally really enjoyed the character. The fact that he's like really serious, and if you smile, it's like it's disrespectful, but he smiles, which is kind of funny, and he doesn't care about human race, human or objects to him, but he want to help actually humans for $1 million. But he doesn't care about money because he live in a church. So.
Right.
What'd you think about that comic?
Right. So I picked it up because Warren Ellis is writing it. I'm a big Warren Ellis fan, so I'm always curious as to when he does a treatment on a character. Usually he does something different with it, whatever makes it somehow cool or whatnot. I don't know lots about Karnak, to be quite honest. I as a kid I always thought he was the martial arts guy, right? Kind of was what he was back in the 70s anyway. What little bit I got to see of him, as far as that goes. So I thought, cool, we'll see what Warren Ellis does with this character. And like Kevin was saying, Karnak he's a priest. His job basically is
he's a magistrate.
Magistrate is the official name for him. Yeah. And he basically, his job is to round up people who have been exposed to the Terrigen gas and help them adjust. The ones that aren't adjusting well to their powers, he helps them adjust and whatnot. He's got some contract going with S.H.I.E.L.D. They'll contact him if somebody's going loopy. He'll come in, scoop them up. Typically, it sounds like he would take them back to the Tower of Wisdom and rehabilitate them. And yeah, he charges S.H.I.E.L.D. exorbitant amount of money to have that done. To help maintain his tower and whatnot, which is all cool and whatnot. And yeah, he sees the weakness. The big thing about Karnak is he sees the weakness and everything. That's his martial arts thing, right? So he can punch through walls because he can see the weakness and stuff. Well, he sees the weakness in everything, in love, in humans, in rocks, in whatever. He sees the flaws in everything. So yeah, he in this he's talking to some grieving parents because their child has been abducted by some fringe S.H.I.E.L.D. enemy. Can't remember who it is.
It's the.
Do you remember who it is, Mike? I don't remember.
Terrigen.
No, what's the group called though?
I thought it was AIM.
Terrigan Mist.
AIM, you're right. It's a fringe group of AIM. It's a fringe group of AIM. And the parents are all worried about the kid, and he's like, yeah, whatever. Chances are you're never going to see him again. He's incredibly cold about the whole thing. But I love the art in it, and there's some cool moments in there. A guy tries shooting him, and he literally bends the bullet back to hit the guy that shot him. And the guy shoots him, and he literally does some hand gestures. The bullet turns around, comes back, and clips him.
Yeah.
Because he saw the inherent weakness in the bullet. As soon as it left the barrel, it was already weak, and he just
and he
turns
saw that
around.
the fact that man was born was the weakness. So that was kind of funny.
Right. And it's got some great art. This desolate scene. There's the Tower of Wisdom. That's and he's
I've
a pretty.
Him smiling.
Yeah. Well, it was some of these like real badass, monk-looking pictures that really sold me on it.
Yeah.
I want to say I don't remember who posted it was on Twitter, but I mean I that's what kind of hooked me on it. I was also hoping to see if there was some explanation because I think the last I read about him is right after they were dropping the bomb. Medusa was going to take charge. I think he did a header out of a
dead,
high rise. Yeah, and then he cracked onto the sidewalk. I thought he was dead. So
they kind of say something about him. He was dead, but he came back. I mean, they mentioned that here. Right. They don't explain how he came back, but they say, watch out. He's one of those guys that died and came back. You know how they are. Coulson, kind of like, oh boy,
those kind of guy.
Yeah. So, but no, I mean, I agree with you guys. It was an amazing book, and it feels that kind of, walk the streets, kung fu kind of, walk the earth, solving problems. So,
like the final panel, just like he's doing some kung fu stuff.
Yeah.
Right. He's chopping a guy's head off with his hand and punching his other fist through a guy.
And just finished right there, like in the combat scene.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And it has it has a feel like Ellis's Moon Knight, in the fact that there's not a lot of writing in it. It's mostly dependent upon the artist to deliver lots of scenes, because lots of it is these kind of moody, him with the hood up, being all, goth or whatever you call it, him, wrecking stuff. Is a lot of it, and that's how Moon Knight was. Ellis didn't write a lot. What he wrote was poignant and to the point, and otherwise it's really left to the artist to really kind of, give us the story. And I enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to the next issues just to see what happens and whatnot. If it's going to be however many issues of him storming through stuff, just busting the hell out of things, I'm gonna like it just for that, So.
But like you mentioned, we saw the picture of the spoiler that I showed. There's no explanation. It's like, well, this is just it, and I really feel like we're going to get all these stories that aren't going to really interact in the same world, and they're not going to explain it. They're just going to say this is just what it is.
Yeah, deal with it.
Yeah.
Because it just restarts, so I know. So, a comic that I didn't purchase this week, but I read actually, New Mutants, 87. Let's talk 90s.
Did it end the same way?
I don't like the 90s style. Really don't enjoy it. It's like painful reading those comics. I just read it because it's the first appearance of Cable, but it took me 2 days to read it. I read some part and stop some part because the art, man, I can't stand the art. I don't know why the artist put so much useless details in the character, like 2,000 little line for a single finger. So I don't know about
it was the style.
Yeah,
no doubt about it.
Growing up, I thought it was amazing. I was like, look at the size of these guys, and I would think they need all those pouches.
I know. I can relate to like how good it was back in the day, but the part which I think it's funny is their style, like their hair. When I look at that, I'm like, man, they're old, and I just think about that. The comic that we read today, in 30 years, it's gonna be the same thing.
Right.
The style are gonna be ugly.
Yeah, you're gonna look at it and go, God, no one will wear their hairstyle like that.
Karnak's look's never going out. I'm gonna say that right now.
A monk kind of look. That's called win. Yeah. But I don't know.
So you're interested in Cable? I mean, have you been reading lots of Cable stuff?
No, I just wanted to read his origin.
Oh, okay.
Just to, know what's going on with that guy.
Right.
I think it's a fun read to just read the first origin of a character. I read the origin of Martian Manhunter recently, just for the fun of knowing how the heck was he created.
Right. Cool. Wow. The only other Marvel book I got was the Uncanny Inhumans, issue number 1. Like a million years ago, issue 0 came out.
Yeah.
I liked that issue, and I thought, well, I'll get this as it goes forward.
Charles Soule, right?
Right, Charles Soule's writing it. One of the things funny is it says the artist on this book, and it lists McNiven's and Listener. Well, McNiven is an awesome penciler. He does some incredible work, really detailed, really great with interesting facial expressions and whatnot. So I'm reading this book, and it just seems kind of off to me. I mean, it's got some of his style in it, but not quite, and I can't figure out what's going on. I get to the end of it, and I'm looking at the credits, and McNiven didn't draw it. He inked it. Somebody else actually listened to the pencils, and he went back over and inked it. So it kind of looks like his style because he inks the same way he pencils, so it kind of looks like his, but it isn't quite there. I mean, it was still fine art, but it wasn't McNiven, because McNiven is just really, to me, is just a really, really sharp artist. But this story basically kind of picks up between issue 0 and what's been going on in the Secret Wars kind of a thing. So we've got Black Bolt in issue 0 had promised his son, his only son, a way to... Oh, now I'm drawing a blank on the guy's name. The guy that goes through Kang? Is it Kang?
Oh, King the Conqueror, yeah.
Emperor of Time or whatever the heck he's called, right?
Yep.
So he basically convinces Kang and agrees to let Kang take his son and move his son through time because Black Bolt had a sense that the end of the world was coming. He sensed Secret Wars coming. So, well, now Secret Wars clearly is done. They're not dead. So now he's going back on he swore that after whatever happened, that he would never come after his son. That Kang would get to have his son, raise his son as his own, and he would never ever show his face or try to do anything. Well, lo and behold, the world's not destroyed, so Black Bolt wants his kid back. So he's breaking his word, and Kang is like, bullshit. And he's sending all of time out to get him. There's a guy, this character here, his name is Reader. I'm not familiar with him at all. He's blind, but he has some cards that he reads. And he can open up time portals. He opens up a portal, and they go back in time to basically the heyday of the original Attila, the original city, where Inhumans are first beginning to gain their powers and they're first coming to power and stuff. They're hoping to go there and ask them for help, ask these original powerful people for help. Well, before they can actually get there to ask for help, of course, Kang shows up, sucks them away to some place where the Russians are testing the world's largest hydrogen bomb, drops them in the middle of the airfield. So the Russians are dropping a bomb on them. There's like all kinds of other time jumping stuff attacking them, and they're scrambling to get away from it. And it's basically Black Bolt, the Reader guy, and I can't remember the I want to call him a fish guy, but he's clearly not fish. But
Trident.
Yeah. They're working together trying to get that back. So part of the story is this whole fight that's going on. The other part of the story is Medusa, of course, is in New Attila, just outside of New York. She's still trying to snatch up as many new Inhumans as she can, try and help out. She's protecting New York. Johnny Storm is the liaison between the city of New York and Medusa. They're also a couple.
Oh yeah.
And they're an item. They're definitely an item. And so you've got this group of new Inhumans that she's kind of running around with. They're trying to establish themselves as the good guys so they don't get painted as bad guys. Plus there's this potential Inhumans versus mutant thing that's starting to happen.
Oh my god.
They've got Beast. McCoy, he is basically hiding out in New Attila, trying to come for a solution to whatever the mutant problem is, because of course Cyclops, being the douchebag that he is, wants to kill the Inhumans. He's all for let's just get rid of the Inhumans because they're bad. Because there's obviously there's something about the gas or whatever that's causing them some sort of a problem. I don't know the details, but I know kind of that that's what's going on. So Medusa's like, I'm glad you're helping me, but at the same time she doesn't 100% trust him because he is a mutant. And McCoy's like, look, Scott's a douchebag. I mean, I don't want anything to do with him. I want us to all get along, so I'm working on some whatever. So there's all that kind of craziness going on. Of course, at the end of this, Johnny Storm shows up and having a make-out session with Medusa, and about that time, Black Bolt shows up.
Oh.
Yeah, basically. And Johnny's like, because they're not a couple anymore, but because Black Bolt was gone for so long that Medusa just decided that he clearly isn't around anymore, so I'm going to go find a new man. And Johnny's like, I would never throw that in your face. I mean, I would never do that in front of you and whatnot. And Medusa's like, it's exactly what it looks like, Johnny's like in the middle, like going, he's that poor guy. It's like, I didn't realize the ex-boyfriend was still here, kind of a thing. So he's in a bit of a panic, which I don't blame him because I wouldn't want to piss off Black Bolt because he's a pretty big temper anyway. So yeah. So I'm enjoying it. I think it's going to be fun. There's a lot of stuff going on in it. What cracks me up is this issue has a backup story in it also that finishes up a backup story that was in issue 0. The pages are printed out of order. How is this possible? How is it possible for me to get a comic book with the pages printed out of order? There's a scene where the people are going inside of a building. They get inside of the building. They start to engage somebody inside the building. Then suddenly for a page, they're outside of the building again, rushing back into the building again.
What?
Yes. And Taki was... Yeah. It's just messed up. They had to have laid the pages wrong, because here they are, they're all outside. Then here they are inside with this lady that's made of glass. Then suddenly the guy comes diving back in after they're already inside the building. Here they are outside the building pointing at, yes, that's the building I think we need to go into. And here they are back having the fight inside the building again.
Boom tubes.
Yeah, CDC says he's got a variant cover version of this, and it's not out of order, so I don't know.
All right.
Crazy.
It's strange that it's not even pages, out of order. It's panels that are...
Well, I think the panels make sense as if the pages were moved, but it's not like it was... See, I'm used to sometimes there being pages out of order like a page, literally the entire page moved and got stapled into the wrong place. Yeah. But these were laid out to be printed in the wrong way. So, I mean, that's a much bigger issue than like my Wolf copy I had where the page was loose, and so if you didn't know where it went at, it threw you off. But I just think it's funny. That's twice in 2 months now I've gotten a book that's it's
collector's edition.
These are professionals. Come on.
You're gonna make a lot of money off that.
And that backup story, whatever. It was. I don't know. It was. But
was the Cyclops? Was that the one with the X cross?
He wasn't in it. Cyclops isn't in it at all. They just talk about him being a creep in it. Right. He's not shown in it. There's no mutants except for Beast. There's no mutants in it whatsoever.
But the mutants don't like the Inhumans because the mutants always wanted to be part of the society, so it's kind of
right.
It's kind of a weird thing.
Well, it's a change. It's definitely a change. It's part of the all new, all different, I guess, in the fact that, I mean, rumors had it that the X-Men were going to have to the mutants were all going to have to leave the planet because that gas that's still whirling all over the planet is poisonous to the mutants.
Yeah. Okay, it's poisonous to the mutants.
Right, so they all have to leave the planet. Or the mutants need to get rid of the Inhumans so the gas goes away, and so, I don't know.
How did you like the time-traveling Kang, though? That has always been an issue with me.
I love it. I love it because you never know what you're fighting. I mean, like I said, he basically scoops them up, drops them down in the middle of this vacant place, and here's this Cold War era, Russian bomber flying along. It's literally dropping a hydrogen bomb on them, and so they can't run away. I can't remember, somebody else from a different time comes popping out and comes trying to me, that's fun. It's just fun to see all these, to see them blowing up, people from all these different eras and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And to me, that's amusing. Granted, I mean, he says at the end of it, you can't run from me because I am a master of time. I'm going to get you.
Yeah.
So that could cause a problem. But as long as the heroes don't do lots of time jumping, I don't care if he time jumps.
Okay.
That makes him a big threat. But to me, it's not confusing unless they start hopping around and changing their own paths and whatnot, and then I'll call foul. But right now, mostly the time jumping is sometimes he scoops them up and throws them to a new place, or he sends people to attack them from all different kinds of places, which to me is just fun.
That was the only thing I didn't care for in Young Avengers, because that's, Iron Lad who becomes Kang and all that.
Sure.
So that was the only thing I didn't care for.
Yeah, granted, with a time jumping type of a story, it can get really confusing if they start messing with going back and screwing with their own timelines, and that hasn't happened. So,
All right.
But I'm looking forward to the whole adventure of, can he get his kid back? Can he save him? Once he gets to his kid, what's his kid's response going to be? Dude, you gave me up to this crazy supervillain. Why would I want to go back with you? I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing what all those kinds of stories could be down the road. So.
All right.
Yeah.
I got Agents of Atlas. I guess I am a sucker for whenever there is an ape on the cover of a comic now.
I love that cover.
Yeah. I do like it. It's this space age kind of, they're in like this battle world. It's the Secret Wars. But the Agents of Atlas are just so 50s style. I mean, Ken Hale is the gorilla man, and he wears this suit jacket. It's like a smoking jacket and a tie. And I mean, they just got a style and a flair to them. This really felt like a one-shot. And I will do one more special, or I will do one more spoiler. They go after Baron Zemo, and Zemo's captured Jimmy Woo, the leader of the group, and Ken is trying to free him, and he's like trying to tell him there's this kid, and he goes, "Don't worry, I took care of the kid," and the kid's like, "I'm Helmet Zemo, I am the son of the Baron."
Right.
And he stabs Ken right in the neck. What Ken was trying to let the kid know is that you're screwed because I'm the gorilla man, because it's a curse. So the kid turns into the gorilla. And it was a nice, really just one shot for me, that it was just this nice book. I liked it. It was, it all wraps up within, this one issue, $5. I often complain about the price of Marvel, but for me, it was worth every dollar.
Every
page count, but I think it's got extra pages. So.
Cool. So I'm being told by Christina that all the copies she went back, copies of her Inhumans, the print was out of order. She went back to the comic store, and every one on the shelf was that way. So clearly, they screwed up that whole thing.
Whole run,
which is really funny. And CDC says that if you want to see Scott's perspective on the whole Inhumans X-Men thing, it's going to be an extraordinary X-Men. You're going to get their version of crappy Inhumans, whatnot. So I guess if you wanted to, I'm not going to get that, but if you wanted to read both ends of it, that's where you'd see the other end of it. I can't stand Marvel. I can't stand Cyclops. So so yeah, I don't know. Cool. Any other books? Any other Marvel books?
I don't have any Marvel books.
Let's talk some Marvel news. I know Millie has a few things.
Yep.
Marvel news.
They announced some more books. Yeah. I think they're up to like 70 or something now.
What?
But
yeah.
They got International Iron Man with writer Brian Michael Bendis and artist Alex Maleev, who have done like Daredevil and lots of Moon Knight and stuff. So yes. So that's just because of the creative team, it's tempting. But I don't really like Iron Man. But I don't know. Yeah. We got The Punisher by Becky Cloonan and art by Steve Dillon.
Punisher.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm gonna take that one.
To me, that's just so weird. I mean, cool for Becky Cloonan to get more work writing. I guess, and I mean, I'm not 100% sold on her being a writer versus her being an artist. I just love her art. I don't know. I can't take Dillon's art after those Thunder Agent or those Thunderbolt issues that he did, that was like some of the worst art I have ever seen. I mean, I dug him on like Preacher and whatnot. That was fine because it was more about the story than it was the art for me.
Yeah.
But oh man, I don't know. But I guess he was part of. Him and Ennis did a whole bunch of Punisher for a long time, right? And he's like either nominated or won, all the accolades you could win for comic books at the time. So I guess we should be excited. I don't know, that's an interesting having Becky on that book seems interesting to me because I mean, not that I personally know her or anything, but just kind of following her Twitter feed and her she's got a blog that she keeps up and stuff too. I mean, she's kind of a Vikings and sword and armor kind of a person, and that's just so not the Punisher. So I don't know. To me, that's just interesting.
Maybe gonna have a sword. Who knows?
There you go.
Yeah.
With Wonder Woman, it's like a trend now. With sword
Sure.
thing.
There you go. Give him a sword and some chainmail long hair, and I can see it. Okay, what else?
New series Hyperion from writer Chuck Wendig, who actually wrote the new issue that came out this week, S.H.I.E.L.D. #1. And apparently the Star Wars Aftermath novel, so I guess a lot of people are excited about that. And the artist, Nick Varela, who was on the 1872 book from Secret Wars.
Oh, okay.
X-Men Worst X-Man Ever, with writer Max Bemis and artist Michael Walsh, which will be a digital-first 5-issue miniseries, apparently.
Yeah.
With a brand new character to the Marvel Universe. And Max Bemis, I think he's in a band, and he's kind of starting to make his comic debut. I think the band Say Anything. I think that's right. But so a lot of people that are fans of the band are excited about that. But
so I'm assuming that's going to be a more tongue-in-cheek kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Worst X-Men Ever, kind of like the oh, and now that I said that, I can't remember the name of it. There's a oh, never mind. I completely lost it.
They said it's the new character. He has a power. He's not really sure what it is or what use it is, and it's going to be one of those that over the arc, this shows that he's actually got a good ability, and that it's not as weird as what it seems.
Yeah. Okay.
I think he's gonna take the worst power and make a team out of it, because that would be funny.
Right. I don't know. That's what I thought it was going to be. Was going to be kind of a tongue-in-cheek kind of a, like the Legion of Substitute superheroes, where you got the guy that Log Boy, which all he does is he just petrifies into a piece of wood, and they use him as a battering ram, and some of those awesome characters. So.
The West Coast Avengers?
Kind of. Well, no, not West Coast Avengers.
Oh, no, sorry, the Midwest Avengers.
Yeah, I was going to say, West Coast Avengers were cool.
Great Lakes Avengers, that's their name.
The Great Lakes Avengers, yeah.
Yeah.
Right on. Okay, cool. Any other Marvel news besides the books?
That's all I saw.
Yeah, that's all I saw,
kind
too.
of slow weeks with news and stuff. So
maybe that's a good thing. That means nobody broke anything or offended anyone or any of those kinds of things, maybe, huh?
Well, the Captain America stuff is still going on, but yeah.
Well, that's gonna. There's a certain group of people who are just going to vehemently hate something regardless, and once they latch onto it, and the people who are still hooked on it are probably the people who really have the least amount of investment actually in the actual comic book. So, whatever. So we'll see where it goes. I mean, I'm suspicious. The more I think about it, with Steve Rogers coming back into the book to kind of confront. Sam in some way. I don't know. That may take it completely away from the social issues and make it just about those two guys butting heads, and all that stuff gets dropped after the first issue, so it doesn't matter. It won't. Yeah.
I actually picked it up because I heard so many people saying good things about it, and I was like, I'll give it a shot. So
well, Nels, you gotta pick it up because it's an investment, if nothing else, right?
Yeah.
30 years from now, it's gonna be that book that, oh my gosh, Fox News was blowing up over it, and so it's
Which one?
I'm kidding. Sam Wilson, Captain America #1.
Ah, yeah.
That the internet is tearing each other apart over the last couple weeks or so.
You need to have that one.
Yeah. Okay, so let's move on to independent books.
Yay!
What do we want to talk first?
Go
ahead. Yep. Go ahead.
First, from Image, Beauty issue 3.
Right on.
I don't
How's
know
that going?
if you guys follow the beauty story or if you even know.
I just picked up the first issue and I dropped it.
I actually really enjoyed the story about this STD, about people being quite sexy, and people actually want to have that STD, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
And this group of people, like terrorist people, who want to destroy this the beauty people, and they really are aggressive stuff, and they have the two principal character are like agent of the FBI kind of stuff, and one of them actually cut the beauty, and at first it was kind of ugly, and then he's in the mirror and quite beautiful. And in this story, spoiler alert, so if you want to read it and you haven't read it, spoiler alert, you know that the beauty is a conspiracy thing. So people die about the beauty, and people actually knew that people are gonna die, but they actually did nothing because they want to sell pills to have more money. Instead of cure everyone, they're just gonna sell pills, which instead of curing you completely, they're just gonna make you live longer and longer and longer and longer. That's like a big.
So you have to keep buying more pills.
Yeah.
Right on. That's typical pharmacy. Yeah.
Yeah, and really enjoy it. Very looking for issue 4. I think it's a mini series because I don't see this going for like 30 issues or so. Because you already know who the villains are, which is the government. Ooh.
So are the FBI agents aware that that's what's going on? And
yeah, that's what happened in this story.
Okay.
They just know now what's going on, and they like another group tried to kill them, 2 agents. So yeah, not much action in it, much more physical and mental action.
Mental drama.
Yeah. Really enjoyed that one. Fun read.
I like the idea of it. I ended up not picking it up, not getting it out of my pull, and so at this point it's gonna be easy for me to pick up that first. Well, it's an image book, so I'm assuming that first trade will be a good deal. So that's where I'm gonna pick it up and check it out. Cool. Oh. What else? What else do we want to talk about? I know
Want to talk? Oh,
go,
Kevin.
Let's go.
Okay. Paybacks. You want to talk paybacks?
Oh yeah, go ahead and start.
This is just fantastic. I love this so much. I want to thank you, Mike, for bringing this book to our attention because I love it. I love all the references to nerd culture and stuff. Like, there's a lot of them, and they're fantastic. Like, I think in the one part, like, you can see there's this big storage shelter, and you can see, like, the TARDIS and, like, the Silver Surfer, but it's, like, a skateboard or something.
Right. Nice.
You can see Galactus' head back there.
The turtle van.
Yeah, the turtle van. A sword
cool.
there. It's just so many cool things. One of the characters makes a Watchmen reference. He actually says like the famous Rorschach line where he's like, "I'm not locked in here with you. You're locked in here with me." And
nice.
There's a Mean Girls reference where like
Squatch.
Yeah, you can't make fetch happen. They're like, stop trying to make Squatch happen. Just it's fantastic. I laugh like in almost every page of this series. It's so amazing. The art I really enjoy. It's by Jeff Shaw and colors by Lauren F. I think that's how you pronounce her last name. Sure. Just like these pages here with like these little battles and stuff, just really, really awesome. Just fantastic. But
well, and their doctor, that's like Doctor Strange, he's telling these girls. So I says to him, so he talks like that. He's got, when he does his little magic, is what he actually says to him. They're like, we don't want to teleport. And he goes, well, we're going to do it anyway.
Yeah. And there's like a line here where there's like a line of superheroes waiting to get in line. There's like an Elektra there with like green instead of red.
Right.
And kind of like a Green Arrow but with red, and just it's fantastic. And the story's great too. It's really, really intriguing. I'm so excited for the next issue.
What is the story about?
So it's the main premise is that there's this group that lends things to superheroes, and when the superheroes can't pay their bills on them, they go back and recollect and that kind of thing. And also, and also when they recollect from them, they have to join their team to kind of repay back and stuff.
What?
So
I want to buy it now.
You should.
From Dark Horse? From Dark Horse?
Yep.
Dark
and this
Horse,
is
they're
issue
called the
2.
Paybacks.
Yep. And also this cover with like a Tony Stark there.
Yeah.
Wow.
And his Iron Man armor being hauled away.
Wow.
It's just.
Well, and Travis, right here, this guy's called Blood Pouch, and the patch over his eye is a pouch. And he's got
Nice.
this whole belt of pouches, bandolier style.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
This
then,
is a
like,
must pick up. That's what you're saying?
When they,
Yes.
when they invade the guy's lair, you're like, listen, Leonard, it's not Leonard anymore. I'm Blood Pouch.
Blood pouch. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, a light filled dig there.
Oh, yeah. And it is. There's just so many. It's on so many layers with, ones if you've been a big reader. There's all these great ones. There's small ones if you're a brand new reader. So, I just think they slip so many jokes into here. And what's really great is what I've complained about on other team books. Each person has their own voice. So, I think it helps that there's 2 writers, because it looks like somebody figures out some characters, somebody figures out the others, and then, they all sound different. So it's not just everybody saying the same stuff.
Cool. Right on.
Yeah. It's just like go pick this up if you can. It's fantastic.
I will. Trust me.
I love it.
They do meet the big boss, or their employer is this big shadow character who's telling them, you all owe me money. The driver will tell you what to do, and they're like, well, I don't really want to do this. And the driver pushes a button, and their watches start counting down 5, 4, 3, and he's like, what's these? He goes, oh, they're going to explode and we're going to die. And they're like, what? And he goes, you got any more questions, comments, or complaints? And they're like, no. And he stops it at 1. It's like countdown stopped.
Oh, nice.
So that's how they keep them in line. It's almost like a Thunderbolts in that way. It's just this mixture of just great things. And you're just starting to learn about each character. The leader is a vampire. She's like taking off her earrings, and she's like, hold these, and then she vamps out and attacks somebody. And nobody else knew. They're like, oh, I didn't know she was a vampire. They didn't even think she had powers. So
Nice. Very fun.
yeah. So yeah, I recommend it. Paybacks has been awesome.
It's so fantastic. I love it.
Luke, what'd you pick up for independent books? Did you score the fade out? So you did get a copy. Awesome.
I did. Had the swinging deal, but I got it.
Yeah. So, issue 10. 2 issues left to the end, right?
I don't want this series to end. It's very disturbing content with the kid pictures.
Well, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, wow. I didn't. That's definitely dark, but yeah, it's Broski, the security guy. Is he? I don't want to say I'm kind of lost on it, but so he knows that the producer is in some trouble. He's not involved in other than just covering up.
He just cleans it up.
Yeah, okay. I just want to make sure I was understanding.
He just cleans it up. He just cleans it up, and we're led to believe in the process of cleaning it up, he also creates a file and keeps a file on everything, because you never know when you might need that for leverage on somebody else somewhere else.
Right.
Yeah.
Dorothy, the PR lady's the one who's kind of starting. Yeah. I like how we kind of like little scenes, like the flashback where Charlie's like starting to remember stuff, but it's kind of like drawn kind of hazy, so he kind of gets like somewhat of what happened, but not for sure.
Right.
That was really well done.
So what I think is interesting about this issue with is it Dorothy or Dottie?
Dottie. I think it's Dottie. Yeah.
Dottie, this character, who of course, her job as a PR person, she basically helps cover up the lies and creates new ones to, make the beautiful people even look more beautiful. She clearly knows more than she's laying on. I kind of liked her when the book first started out. She kind of seemed kind of simple and kind of cute. Now I'm not sure that she isn't more devious than some of the other people that are here. They've upped the whole FBI looking for commies thing to a higher degree in this, which makes, for me as a reader anyway, much more nervous for the characters who are in the story, because who's the moles and who aren't the moles kind of thing. I mean, is the guy that she says is the FBI guy, is he really the FBI guy, or is it somebody, or is she the FBI guy?
She not, yeah.
So I don't know. It's that, I guess it's that great kind of crime noir where we're getting towards the end, so things are starting to spin out of control, and it's getting to feel more and more like there's more people that could be guilty than innocent at this point. Or is everybody guilty, but maybe not guilty of the murder of the Starlet, but they're all guilty of some awful thing, and we're slowly finding out what all those awful things are. Nobody's a good person by the end of this thing. I mean, clearly the person that most of the story is being told through, Charlie, he's not the most upstanding citizen ever. I mean, clearly some of his behavior is not the best as far as that kind of stuff goes. So I'm excited for the end, because I'm excited to find out what the twist is. Because I just think there's gonna be when the shoe finally completely drops. What's it gonna be? Kind of a thing. Because now they're off to confront the addled, aged, old producer, and God knows what's going to come out of his mouth. I mean, because clearly he's a pretty hardcore deviant, into kiddie porn and a whole bunch of other stuff. So it'll be really, really interesting to see just how awful of whatever we get from him, if they make it to him, which I don't know if they will. I don't know if the security guard won't catch up to him. And clearly he has no problems with, shooting you, tying a chain around you, and throwing you in the river. So I'm excited for it. I'm excited. Clearly cool to see how it ends. And I'm also excited to know how this ends, because I know that means that these creators are going to be doing something new. And I'll be excited to see what that is that comes after it. But yeah. Still great. I think it's just layers of mystery.
You're not buying Earl not being involved in the murder of the girl in the beginning?
I'm not sure. I mean, part of me thinks that he isn't, that he's just, he clearly is a partier, and he's got, his own things in the closet that could get him in trouble, but I don't know that he's responsible for the... He seemed to me like he blew that off way too easy. Exactly. But then he is an actor, and maybe he just calmly just kind of, can blink when somebody basically accuses him of murdering somebody and not, not show anything. I think it's too easy for Earl to be involved at this point, I guess. But then maybe that's the whole point. Make the guy doubt the people he originally thought it was that were the bad guys, and then those people end up being the actual bad guys.
Would there be anyone who showed, like, if anyone, is there anyone that, if it's shown that they're the person who did the murder, if that was the case, would there anyone you'd just like totally discuss it, like, this was just a total waste because of the person who did it? No,
even if if it ends up being Charlie that killed her, right, and he's the person who's trying to figure out who killed her, I want a good explanation as to why he did it and forgot. But I mean, part of me, as I was reading this, I thought maybe Dottie killed her. Maybe Dottie was just sick of this, person that she's constantly having to, make more special than she is and whatnot, and, strangled her because she found out that she was the FBI agent or something. I don't know. No, there isn't anybody. Is there somebody I mean, if you found out it was Gil or somebody, would you be...
That'd be funny if it was Gil, but...
in some drunken stupor he killed her?
Yeah, exactly. That's what it would have to be. Something like, he just... Whatever. But, I don't think so. It's just been too good. Everything's just been woven too good for it to be, I think, a failure. It would literally have to... Something will have to happen at the end where it just totally fall off the...
Well, right. It was UFOs, aliens came down and killed her or something. That would wreck it. But, I mean... Yeah. Within the crime noir of it, no. I mean, I think anything's fair game. Short of clearly she didn't kill herself. So, yeah. Cool. What else? Any other books you want to
talk? That one came out last week, but I pick it up this week.
Okay. What's that?
Accent, issue 1.
Accent.
That's a variant cover. The guy told me to pick that one up because it's gonna be a 2-issue variant cover, like a versus kind of thing.
Oh,
And each
cool, right.
time the health bar is gonna go down and down and down and down.
That's
I think
fun.
that was kind of an interesting variant cover. But the story is quite nice. I don't know if you guys watch any anime, but it's kind of like a sword art online kind of stuff.
Oh,
where
cool.
the guy is in the video game. So they took the same concept. It said that guy, the main character, he had a twin brother, but that guy died, and you still don't know why. And he's affected emotionally but by the fact that his brother died, and that comic take place 1 year after he died. So he got like this traumatic kind of stuff going on. He's kind of crazy, and the game that he play is usually a game like, I don't know, Xbox One game, and the game had an update, and that guy is like this new beta tester, and this update makes him go in the game. And once he go in the game, he's like kind of new, like what the heck is going on? Why am I in the game? He's one of the 3 lucky person who can play the beta, and the 2 other played like a few hours before him, so they kind of like raped that guy, like they just like destroy him. But we don't know what's going on. It's like just the first issue. It ends the end is good. I don't want to spoil anything, but the end is like, you wonder what the heck is going to happen after that thing, because he's very depressed. You see, that guy is like 15 or so, and you see like a psychologue. I don't know what to say it in English, but you know, the doctor for the mind.
Psychologist.
He's kind of very depressed and kind of stuff. It's a very fun read. I just gave it a try. I'm gonna see what issue 2 is going to be like. So yeah.
Cool. I may have to look into that because I do like that concept and whatnot.
And
it's certainly relatable to getting a game after everybody else gets the game. So when you log in, if it's a player versus player, you get hosed by the people who are camping that already have all the good stuff.
Yeah.
The art style is like very future stuff. It's like the kind of the art robot kind of stuff. At first, when I saw it like last week, I wasn't quite sure about the art, because it's like a future thing, and I'm like a big sci-fi fan. So at first I thought it was a sci-fi comic, but when the comic owner told me it was more like a video game comic, I just picked that one up. I did it. That's like how it looks like, and that's the actual main character, like a blonde teenager. Very cool, fun to read if you like video games. I enjoy video games, so
yeah, cool. Let's check that out. What else? Do we want to talk Wolf?
Yeah.
Let's talk Wolf.
This is what, issue 5, right?
Yeah.
Issue 5 of Wolf. The end of the first arc. I like the cover.
I love all the covers on the series. I think they're fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like the art on this issue improved from the last few issues. I liked it a lot more, especially some of the more like graphic kind of scenes and stuff. Very cool.
Vampire torture.
Yeah. It's cool.
I'm gonna have to read this one again. I'll be honest. Go ahead, Millie. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. I'm just agreeing with you. I have to read it again because I do feel confused a lot of the times with this book. Like, I actually had to read issue 3 before I read this issue again, and I'm probably gonna have to read this again before I read the next issue. But yeah, I don't know. You can talk now.
Yeah, the writer definitely wove a tale that what is said in the issue 1, little tiny things in issue 1, all come back in the other issues. You know, I mean, serendipity, is that the word that he uses in here?
Yeah.
The character uses in here. I mean, it's all, for me, synchronicity as far as us reading it as a story, in that all those little things, the flowers, the people with the flower names, the birds, all those things all are a message to this character, and in this issue, it's to some degree, they attempt to explain to us that all that stuff was a message. Wolf Price telling us that was a message, that he kept seeing all this stuff and seeing this stuff, and that it used to be as a kid he would ignore that, and now he doesn't ignore those things. That's a message to him that something's coming. So he kind of had a sense that what's going on, because there's a couple group of people in here that really intended on just screwing him. I mean, well, the one of the groups here set him up to show up with his own daughter. They're going to sacrifice both of them because they need the Lamb's blood and the Immortal's blood to cause some other cataclysm or something to happen for their benefit.
Yeah.
And he has his own trick up his sleeve to try and save them from that happening. I don't know that it completely works the way he wanted to, because he gets filled with a lot of bullet holes by the end of this thing. But clearly that gave the Lamb enough time to change and protect herself.
Because there are no lambs here.
Right, as she said, it turns into a werewolf demon thing and does some shredding of her own, basically. So yeah, I mean, I'm gonna read. I think I understand everything that went on in. I'm gonna read it again because I'm gonna enjoy reading it again to see all that little stuff, to be able to appreciate the writing, to go, wow, he folded a lot of stuff in there. To me, that's really smart. I mean, I picked up on some of it in those first couple issues and whatnot, but not realizing that it was going to go to this extent. I really like that. I mean, I really like that. And it doesn't bother me to have to reread a book because there's that much going on in it. I don't want to be confused, but I don't mind having to reread it to appreciate everything that's there. I know everybody, just about everybody who did a poll on this, we're slipping to show the art, and everybody hit this page and went, "Oh my God, look at all that text."
That was a lot.
It verges closer to prose there, right? Because it's a lot of words and fewer pictures. I guess I don't mind that if it's actually telling me something that it's not. It's because it's him telling us something. It's not. I don't know. It's not just a bunch of words for the sake of having a bunch of words in there. It's not like a comic book from the mid-'70s where the writer is describing every damn thing that happens in the boxes, and then of course the pictures are showing it too.
Yeah.
I don't want that. That wasn't there. It kind of gave us a story that that I think we needed to be told, but there's no way the artist could have fit that in unless they were going to add another 20 pages to the book, right? So, I don't know. It didn't bother me.
Yeah.
I really like the book.
Basically, this comic is better in a trade because you will read all of those one shots.
Yeah.
Without doubt. You can sit down. You won't have to wait a month between things. So I think if you're reading it in a couple settings, all this stuff will connect easier, I think, because you won't have a month to kind of forget about the little nuances to come back to them, for sure. For sure.
I like how when this one started, they kind of touted this thing having like a little bit of a horror theme, and then we finally, I know we got a little bit in the beginning, and you get the vampires here and there, but I think this one really hit a horror theme. It's not horror-centric, but you really got a good horror theme in this issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I'm worried if it's true if Freddy's really gone, because I really liked him as a character.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that would be a bummer.
Fooey. That's the guy with the R's, right?
No. Freddy was the...
Freddy.
Oh, yeah, the Futurama guy.
Freddy Chthonic, the guy with the...
Oh, okay.
The guy that does used to do tentacle porn, yeah. Yeah, there's a lot about this book I like. I like the concept of it. I like the fact that our main character is this guy that kind of messes in the supernatural. He uses it to his advantage. Because in this issue, he's kind of stomping into this vampire's place, so he knows the vampire's going to screw with him. The vampire's been murdering people. He shows up with a couple zombie spirits to basically mess with him, and he's got that fancy Pandora's box or Rubik's Cube in the back of his car seat to unleash Grandma's spirit onto
like Hellraiser and the
releases that puzzle box on the dad of the the Antichrist basically to screw with them there. You know, I mean, I don't know. It's just I love all that stuff. Just a bunch of bizarre, kind of elements. It reminds me in some ways of like the old Hellblazer comic. They just pull out these kind of weird little arcane things to kind of to give you that little piece of advantage and whatnot. Of course, we all know. I think that this is the last issue for this artist. I don't have a link right offhand to his blog talking about his whole experience and whatnot, but the reason I think maybe some of this art, like in the middle issues, felt like it wasn't as strong, maybe because he was pushed pretty hard to get it done. The artist, I guess, has a whole bunch of full-time jobs. He's a full-time artist doing other stuff besides just this book. And he knew at issue 1 that he was not going to continue with this book. So he already knew. So my understanding is when this book comes back, and I'm not sure we have a date as to when it's going to come back, it's coming back with a new artist, and the book is going to be set years into the future. We're actually going to skip a whole bunch of time, probably moving us closer to the apocalypse, I would guess.
Yeah.
And explore, I'm not sure what, right?
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, I think I looked on the writer. I think I always pronounce his name wrong. Alice Cott.
Yeah.
I looked on his Twitter, and he said it's the new artist makes sense because since it's closer to the apocalypse, it's more like not so clean lines and that kind of thing. So I'm looking forward to the new artist. But this page here was just, I thought this was so beautiful.
Yeah.
With like this city in the background and the guy just burning there. It's like a poster, a movie poster or something. It was beautiful.
For real, yeah. Well, I'm nervous about the next artist on the book because I feel like the art does. I mean, it sets a tone for the book. This artist does. So I get what the writer's saying, but I've already come accustomed to this is how this book feels. Do you know what I mean? So I'm apprehensive to what's next. Not that it's going to stop me from getting it, because I like the concept of the book and whatnot. But part of me's, I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. We'll see. But I still like it. I really like the book.
Yeah, like I said, even though I have to sometimes read it multiple times, I'm still enjoying it. I really like the characters and everything. That's what really draws me in is these characters. I think they're just really fascinating. And I love the way they talk and stuff. It's just really awesome. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Liking it.
Yeah. Cool. What else? Anybody got anything else you want to talk
about? Pick up Empty Zone?
Oh.
I did not. I mistakenly didn't get that in the first place. That cover is just awesome.
Once again, that's what pulled me in. The lead hero in it fights a group of like mutoids, and so that's why, as I read through this, I mean, it is pretty solid artwork through it. A lot of this, kind of really tight black and white with a shading of gray and punches of color in just the right areas. This is issue number 5. I picked it up because of the cover. Christina let me know that I need to go back and get the rest of them. So I haven't done any of the rest. It looks like it's going to be a phenomenal story, so I just wanted to point out beautiful artwork. It looks like a very excellent story.
Yeah, I've heard from T-Bird that that's good too. She was talking to me about it, I don't know, back at issue 2 or something like that, and somehow I screwed up and didn't get it on my pull, so it's one of those books I'm sitting and waiting for a trade to pick it up, and it looks awesome. The artwork on it looks really, really solid. Yeah. Cool. Did anybody pick up Clean Room?
No.
So this is another one of the Vertigo #1s that they're cranking out these three months. This is Gail Simone first Vertigo book. So basically Gail Simone uncensored. Davis Hunt on art. Horror book, without a doubt.
Ooh, enjoy the horror books.
Yeah, and a Jenny Friesen, cover, which is Jenny Friesen on covers is always awesome too. So I'm not 100% sure what I think of the book, there are aspects of it I really enjoyed. There's some creepy moments. The opening scene. I guess the problem is, and I'm having a problem with a lot of Gail Simone's books here lately, is in an issue. I think like in this issue, she's jumping in time without there being anything to let us know we've jumped in time, and so that causes me a problem sometimes. So I'm still guessing because this issue I don't know these characters, so I'm not 100% sure. Anyway, the story starts out with these people are walking to church, and it's your typical atomic family, mom, dad, older brother, daughter kind of thing, and they're walking to church and they're talking about going to church, and the girl is talking about her teddy bear doesn't like going to church because it's boring or something like that. Typical little girl, using the bear as a reflection to what's going on around her. There's a traffic accident and the daughter gets ran over. The guy who's driving the truck that runs over is having a really bad day. He almost seems overly aggressively pissed off, and that's how he ends up running this girl over, not necessarily on purpose, but he backs over her like a couple times. The crowd that's there on the scene is so horrified that he did this, they actually drag him out of the car and they beat him to death on the spot. The girl ends up being okay, other than like her leg was really mashed really bad. When she's in the hospital, she comes out of being under either from anesthesia or a coma or something like that. She calls for her mother. Her mother's there, and it's like, I'm here, and then she goes, and she's like, I want to see Papa. I want to see Papa, and the dad's standing right there, and he's like, I'm right here, honey. I'm right here. And she goes, no, I want to see Papa. I want to see Papa. And the mom goes, Papa's right here. And then she goes, Mama, why is Papa's face all snakes or something like that? And that's it. It's just entire black page with this word balloon that says Papa's face is all snakes. Doesn't show us a picture of that at all. And then it jumps to something else completely different.
Okay.
And the second part of it is a girl trying to commit suicide ends up being rescued. You kind of get a little bit of back history of her. She had a fiance who committed suicide. He kind of got involved in a self-help group that sounds more like a cult than anything else. This self-help group has a clean room that just messes with you, I guess. She's a reporter, or she's been a journalist. She shows up to this cult kind of supposedly as a journalist to try and talk to the main person, and there's some weird stuff ensues. She either hallucinates or she's seeing weird stuff. I mean, and it definitely has some Gale moments in it that pull no stops. At one point, she's talking to this kind of she wants to talk to the head of the cult, but she's not allowed to. She's talking to her right-hand man. And there's this demon thing crawling around her, all over her as she's talking. And it's the reporter girl's the only person that can see it. And it's saying all kinds of nasty sexual stuff as it's crawling all over, which is, nothing against Gale, but it's kind of a Gale type of a thing. How far can I push the whole perverted thing? See, here she is, and this is this demon thing crawling around her and talking, and it's got this white long tongue that's kind of licking her face. But only this girl can see it. But it's, it says all, I won't even repeat it, but it says all kinds of pretty awesome stuff. But she sees, after she drowns and gets saved, she starts seeing crazy stuff. Like her dead fiance Philip comes back to visit her, and clearly he's missing half his head. But I don't know. I like it. The art is really sharp. I think the art is really excellent in it. But I'm not wowed. I'm not wowed on it, but it's interesting. It's hard to explain what all is going on in it. But yeah, I mean, like I said, the art is pretty awesome. I think it's going to have some really twisted stuff in it because quite frankly, Gale is a pretty twisted person. Sweetheart, complete sweetheart, but she likes to write twisted stuff. So curious to see what it ends up becoming. Yeah. Anything else?
Yeah, I picked up probably the comic of the week because Back to the Future and stuff. which is now in the past. Pick up the Back to the Future comic.
Luke got it too. Cool.
I did. Yeah.
The only reason I picked that one up is because it was Back to the Future Day. I won't pick up issue 2. I read the comic. I was confused because the last time I saw the Back to the Future movie, I was like, I don't know, 10. I'm 21, so I actually don't know what happened. But it's basically how Doc met McFly. It's like the origin of how they met. It's kind of a fun thing. It was kind of funny. But other than that, it's like a very basic comic, very basic storyline. If you enjoy Back to the Future, it gives you more story about what happened in the movies, basically.
It's set, remember, at the end of 3, basically Doc stays in the back time area. He stays in the past while Marty goes in the future. So it's set up in the back, like really how 3 ended, and he's telling his kids story about how family came to be and how he met Marty and whatnot. And then he kind of ends it where his wife's like, his son's like 3 years old, he don't know, and he's like, hey, I got many other stories we can talk about. So it's kind of like you could see how this is kind of can drive on for a little bit. It's kind of like maybe like the lost tales of Emmett Brown,
But like Doc is like in this Western kind of stuff. If you see his wife is like wearing that old outfit, and he talk about in the future how this road is gonna be a place where mad stuff gonna happen. But I don't really like this art. Not the best art I ever seen. Quite very cartoony, but not like a young cartoony, more like a regular cartoony. But
no bit.
The best part of the comic was this part right here where McFly enters in the Doc lab, and like he had like a big trap set up where he touched something and something go on like this big domino effect.
Yeah.
Only for him to capture McFly, which is kind of fun. And he has like this test for him for a job, which is not a job actually. And basically, how McFly see Doc is how they first contact each other is because this guy destroy his lamp for his ampli for his guitar, and he need a new one. So he just go in his lab to pickpocket one.
Alright.
Basically, very basic stuff. But if you guys didn't pick that one up, just don't pick it up. It doesn't worth it.
I actually think it was pretty good. Interesting.
So you'll get more of them, Luke?
I'm not going to put it on my poll. I'm going to pick it up, give it a couple more tries. You're right, Kevin. If you like Back to the Future, I love Back to the Future.
Yeah.
If that's your thing, you're going to enjoy it. If you didn't like Back to the Future, don't even bother. But I'll give it a couple more issues just to kind of see where it goes. Because it's interesting. You do see Doc Brown's part of the Manhattan Project, so I thought that was pretty cool too. So
what did you think of the art?
The art, he is right. The first one, it was okay. The second one, the backup story, much more polished art. But it was like here's like the backup story.
The cover is great. If they actually did I'm just gonna remove it from.
Yeah, the backup story basically looks what the cover looks like.
If they did all the story with this art, it would be great.
Yeah, most of the art in it is very rudimentary, though, right? Yeah. I mean, it's very basic, very basic.
Like W, so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think it was fantastic that the Back to the Future Day was on New Comic Book Day,
that all that landed the way it did was pretty sweet. I mean, that's you can't get better marketing than that, right? I mean,
they planned it back in '70. Yeah.
Yeah, that you can't get better marketing than that. That was.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome. So all the way around. Yeah.
Um,
Go ahead, Billy.
Anyone pick up S.H.I.E.L.D. #1?
Not.
This is the Raphael Albuquerque cover, which I just love.
Yeah.
It was okay. It's basically like a Captain America story, kind of with a different twist to it. This girl is basically, she fights for America. She's been around since like the 1700s. She basically only comes around to fight for America when it's at really desperate times. She just kind of turns up and starts fighting. So it starts at 1776, where she's kind of like going into this base and like, I don't know what she's doing. I think she's like trying to like cut open bags of stuff and everything. And the bad guys come and they capture her, and she kind of says this thing that's like, "I'm nobody. I'm nothing. Nothing but a soldier. Nothing but a shield of the revolution." Then we jump to the present day, where she's being questioned by this cop. She doesn't know who she is. So this is like a time where she's returning, where apparently dark times are happening and she doesn't know who she is, which is pretty interesting. This cop, I guess, knows her, so she gives her her address, and she tells her that these people from basically the FBI are coming to come get you, and you need to leave now. So she gives her address, she starts running. As she's running, she gets hit by a car, and she gets some of her memories back, but not all of them. So she's starting to remember some things.
Like being hit by a car to jog your memory. Nice.
Yeah. We show some scenes with this apparent bad guy, which I guess is going to be like the main villain throughout the series. I'm not sure if he's the same guy that was the bad guys that captured her back in the 1700s. They look kind of similar because there's him there back in the 1700s. And then we jump to the present time, and he looks like that. I can get that there. So I'm not sure if it's the same character, but he definitely has some very dark motives, and he keeps referring to her as my girl, which I find kind of interesting. So apparently they have a past. And also, another thing I found pretty interesting about the book is he's talking, and I'm not sure if it's just because he's getting really, really angry and it's supposed to emphasize that, but his word bubbles turn black.
Oh.
And usually, for me, at least, that symbolizes something like supernatural is kind of happening.
Yeah, and sinister, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so I find that pretty interesting. But this S.H.I.E.L.D. girl, she goes to the house of the well, as she's going to the house of the cop, she's kind of running into all these people, and she's stopping crime, and she comes across she sees an American flag, and she's like, the stars and stripes, my heart stops, my mouth goes dry, like I'm seeing a boy I like across the room, but I'm too afraid to go talk to him, like I'm programmed for this. And the crazy thought hits me like a brick, you're here for a reason. So it's very, almost like brainwashed, ingrained in her mind that the America is like the way to be, and the stars and stripes and all that kind of stuff. So that's pretty interesting. And then, of course, as she sees the American flag, all her memories come flooding back. She remembers everything. She talks about how she remembers dying, which is very similar to how Captain America died. She's, like, at least in the movies, I don't know if it's in the older comics, but she falls out of a plane and she's in water, and she dies in water. So,
Such
yeah, very similar. Yeah.
I smell lawsuit.
But she goes to the house of this cop, and the FBI people are there to come get her, and she's like, you sold me out, you sold me out. And then an explosion comes back, and for some reason, again, she starts to remember more things, so apparently she didn't remember all of them before, but I don't know. And yeah, it just ends like that. She's like, oh yes, I remember. And she's kind of like being shot, and they're kind of just like ricocheting off of her and stuff, and yeah, I don't know.
It's a cool concept.
Yeah.
I know, I kind of like the idea of something that keeps getting resurrected when.
Yeah. And I feel like they could have done really cool things with it, but from this first issue, it doesn't seem like there's much going on. It feels very straightforward, very one note. like I said, interesting concept. I would have loved to see, like, and maybe there will be supernatural elements with the kind of black text. I would love to see that, but I don't know. And it's by Dark Circle Comics, which is an imprint of Archie Comics. It's like they're more mature kind of books.
Yeah, Black Hood and
and I read like the first, I think, 3 or 4 issues of Black Hood, and it was okay, but it was kind of the same as this, where the story wasn't really there. And the art's pretty good, really nice backgrounds and stuff, and the coloring's nice. But I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna continue with it. I don't feel like the story's gonna go anywye're. So.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. A lot of those are that way. It seems like they're just not like the Black Hood one, because I read a few issues of it too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of cool. You're like, okay, this is cool. This element is cool, but they don't quite take it all the way. It's like whoever they've got working on the books don't know how to completely elevate it to where it would need to be at. Kind of a thing. And those characters have been around for a very long time. I mean, they've the whole Dark Circle, Red Circle, they've kind of kicked that thing up and then it disappeared for a while. For a lot of years, that stuff is, they created those things way back to compete with the superhero stuff a long time ago. So. Yeah.
And the writer is Adam Christopher, who I've never heard of, and then Chuck Wendig, who's going to be doing the new series from Marvel. So, interesting. But Kelly Fitzpatrick colors, so it's nice colors. But, yeah, I don't know. Just, it wasn't feeling it. So.
Cool. What else?
That's my last comic, so, here we go. It's a Heroes Vengeance. I don't know if that one came this week. I just saw it and I decided to pick that one up. I really enjoyed the Heroes TV show back in the days. I thought it was fantastic. I haven't seen the Heroes Reborn yet.
Right. Yeah,
this one is the prelude to the TV series Heroes Reborn.
Okay.
The story goes with this character, which is Vengeance. That's his superhero name. And that guy, we still don't know what his power is. I think he's super strong, but we still don't know. It's not very told. But it's a backstory to that guy, which he really enjoyed wrestling matches, and you just know a little bit more about him. It's the first issue, so you just know who he is, what's his backstory of it, and basically he helped a guy who's getting beaten in the streets. If I can see that, yeah, that guy, he got like beaten in the street. So this hero come along, and he helps with him. And basically, all in the comic, there's like this back voice, which tell you what is a hero. So you've got that like you got this kind of, yeah, thank you, kind of stuff going on. And at the end, you just wonder what the heck is a hero. Is a hero someone who has superpower? A hero is someone that you want to look alike, someone that you just love. And at the end, you just you know that this superhero, he has a family, and because he helped that guy in the street, his family's probably gonna end up dead, and he knows it. But that's why he wears a mask to protect himself. But at the end, I'm pretty sure he's gonna end up bad, because the guy, when he saved him, he said, "Man, you should have done that, because you're gonna die. They're gonna find you, and they're gonna." And that guy's like, "Nah, I'm not scared of it. I'm not scared anymore. I just want to help people." I think it's like a great like twist to the Hero series, which Heroes basically is like this people who just have power, but they are not superheroes.
Right.
That guy just like, I'm gonna be a superhero here. I don't care. It's kind of fun to read.
You got like a superhero who wears a luchador mask anyway, right? So the wrestling mask.
Yeah.
Cool.
And it's from Titans comic. I don't know who the heck is that. They do Doctor Who actually, I think.
Right. That's I think the thing most people know them for is Doctor. They got a few other titles out, but not a lot of them do.
At the end I saw it, like Doctor Who and another one, which was Blacklist, I think. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah, they do a lot of TV shows.
Oh, so they're doing a lot of those. Okay.
It's all Doctor Who, Doctor Who, Doctor Who, Doctor Who, Doctor Who. Yeah, very enjoy to read. If you like heroes, yeah, you should definitely check that one out.
Cool.
Definitely.
Didn't realize
That's it for me.
One other book I'll briefly talk about, Tokyo Ghost. This is issue 2. Remender and Murphy and Hollingsworth. CDC will probably tell me to reread this one too. I don't know. I liked this issue. Last issue we how this crazy enough basically introduced us to how awful society is and how logged in everybody is to all the electronics that are around us and whatnot to the extreme. In this issue, the guy that holds the contract on this guy being a constable, these two big constables, they were going to quit, but instead of quitting, the guy that holds the contract on them is actually sending them to Tokyo, sending them to Japan, which is where she wanted to run away to after they were done taking out this criminal in the last issue. So she figures, why not let this guy pay their way to Japan, and once they get there, they can like just forget about him and go and live their lives. So slowly, this guy Dent is slowly coming off of all of the electronics he's on. I mean, he's literally addicted to all the news feeds, the porn, the reality TV shows. They're constantly being pumped into his head. He's barely conscious of the real world around him. He is so jacked into this stuff. Well, they ride a sub, and it takes weeks for them to ride this little submersible from, I'm assuming, well, from LA, from the West Coast to Japan. And the whole time he's coming off of all of these drugs and starting to get some of his own actual personality back. We kind of get a backstory of her and, well, his name is Dent, but his actually name is Teddy. They were like neighbors as little kids. They kind of grew up together. They had their own little secret club, and the main motto of their secret club is that they wouldn't jack themselves into all this electronics and stuff. That they would stay clean, basically, from all this stuff. And it tells the story of how he ends up becoming this super, amped up, roided out, total, whatever. So you get kind of their backstory. And then they make it to Japan. And the one thing everybody knows, the reason nobody knows, the secret is about Japan is supposedly has all this clean water, all this clean air. If they go over there and steal Japan's resources, they can bring those resources back to LA, and they can live for years and years on healthy, clean stuff. And that's what this guy that runs this multimedia thing wants to do. And so he's sending them over to take the warlord out that's controlling Japan so they can steal everything. Well, they can't spy on it because there's like this giant EMP pulse shield around Japan. So no electronics can get there. You fly a drone in, it gets wiped out. You fly a plane in, it gets wiped out. Well, they putter this submarine, and once they get up so close, the submarine quits working, but it's got a steam engine on it to pedal them the rest of the way in. Well, they get to Japan, and Japan literally is this lush, overgrown, it's like all the buildings are starting to collapse. It's all green. It's all beautiful. Whereas, of course, when they were in LA, everything is just built garbage upon garbage upon garbage upon scum upon scum upon scum.
Mm-hmm.
So it's got all these great elements of Japan. It's got guys running around in komodos with samurai swords, and so if you know Murphy's art, it is just absolutely gorgeous. So they get to Japan and they pull themselves out of the water, and one of the first things they come across is this great scene of this, this guy, the traditional Japanese garb and whatnot. And here's our Teddy. He's freaking out because they have to kill anybody who sees him because they're supposedly supposed to be sneaking in to do a surprise attack on this warlord. So you get this giant double-page spread of Japan all overgrown with these giant trees and stuff, and there's still panda signs in places. The last page, here's just some of the art. The last page, this is potentially the warlord. This gorgeous woman wearing this komodo. She's got a red panda on her shoulder, little rabbits hopping around her feet and whatnot. But the art is just amazing. There's some incredible other panel work in this that here she's kissing Teddy's nose as he's slowly, slipping into insanity right now because he's getting, he's going off of all of his reality shows. So he's crying, but he's laying down, so his tears are pouring down his face, and it drifts off into the bubbles from the submarine. To me, that's just a beautiful panel right there of storytelling. It's a cool comic. The art is amazing in it. I'm still looking for to be more story than what there is in this, and that's where I say CDC will probably slap me because I'm not taking in all the story. Or maybe it's just the fact my expectations are so super high for these two creators that I wanted to just, blow my mind. Story-wise, it's not blowing my mind. It's cool. Art-wise, it's amazing. I'm scrambling now to scrape as many coins together as I can to see if I can buy some pages from this issue, like I did The Wake. So it's a gorgeous book. It's cool. I'm looking forward to seeing what their experience is going to be like in Japan. The Dent character Teddy, he wants to hurry up, kill the warlord as fast as he can, and get the hell back to LA so he can get jacked in because he's missing his reality shows. Life is going by without him. The Porn twins are getting something and he's not seeing it, and that's all that he can think about is the fact he's got to get back to that. And she's just like, oh, freshwater, green grass. We're never going back. We're never logging back in. This is going to be so beautiful. So clearly these two people, I don't know if he loves her. She definitely loves him. There's clearly going to be some serious conflict going forward because they have completely different motivations than each other have. So, what's going to break, I don't know. So I'll be looking forward to that part of the story. But pretty cool.
Nice. I actually wanted to pick that one up. I'm going to pick up, I think, next week, the issue 1, because the shop where I go, they actually didn't add any issue 1, and the guy was like, yeah, it's a very, very good storyline.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool, and the art is just absolutely amazing. What were you going to say, Mike?
Well, just got my shop sold out. I mean, I think he went down from the original boom that he knew he was going to get from number 1.
Sure.
And so I was just pulling it off the shelf. And
right.
So I'm at the point now I have to decide if I want to try and dig around or go, an hour away and pick up my other shop. So.
Yeah. I really liked it. Like I said, this issue felt like the first issue felt like it was kind of setting up just how awful everything is. Yeah. So then we can move to the Japan where looking at it as far as visually, and it's like a utopia, like I said, fresh water and, beautiful green grass and fresh air and all that, kind of a striking between the two. Now I think the story really starts with the conflicts, personal conflicts that are going to start happening and whatnot. So looking forward to what's coming with it.
And do we know how many it is, or it's ongoing?
Ongoing. It's an ongoing. Okay. It's an ongoing. So
that's going to be tough because right now it doesn't feel like it's got that long of a story arc. Then.
Right. It depends how long you want to spend somewhere. They could hurry up and deal with the warlord and go back, or they could spend a very long time of these people and their, like I said, the conflict that I think is going to come between what each other's goals are. Plus, clearly, there's this feudal system that's operating, that's kind of moved back into this feudal system in Japan. They could spend a long time in Japan before they ever go back or deal with the technological end of things or whatnot. So. You're right. It could be a very quick story, or it could be very long, depending on what they want to do with it.
Yeah. I'm probably just seeing the short end of it, so you're right.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm getting to see Murphy, produce this stuff is just pretty amazing and whatnot. I've seen some work in progress on Twitter from him with some gorgeous, panels with horses and some other, incredible looking stuff on it too. So it's pretty cool. Yeah. Right. Any other books you want to talk about? Any indie news? I hear that they're putting a Preacher preview in amongst one of the Walking Dead episodes. I don't know when that's coming. I didn't actually read the article, but
I think this weekend. Yeah.
So this weekend's Walking Dead. If you're
watching. I'm definitely gonna do a reaction to that one.
Right. So I know I'll catch it too. I didn't realize it was that close. I didn't realize that it was so close that they would actually have footage to show us.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think they're gonna do an Archie TV show as well. That's what I heard.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
in the Archie comics, they talk a lot about Archie
they're doing,
TV show.
I think it's called Riverdale.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
an Archie TV show.
Well,
Yeah.
I can see that. I mean, definitely. I'd be
I'm pretty
curious
sure it's
to
gonna
see.
be like this kind of Gossip Girl kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But who
Do
knows?
do we have a sense as somebody picked up the show, or are they just in the process of working up a pilot to try and sell to somebody?
I don't know. I haven't read that much of it. I just know they're gonna do a TV show about it.
Yeah, I was just curious if we already knew where it was going to land. I mean, is it going to fall into the kind of CW kind of a thing, or
Let's
I don't know
watch.
if it's on CW.
or is it a CBS kind of a? Oh, I know something that came out that's kind of quasi DC oriented as far as that. They're still working on a Krypton TV show for sci-fi, and it's supposedly set 200 years before Man of Steel. So basically, you've got super scientists riding around on space seahorses, doing crazy stuff. It sounds like. To me, that sounds awesome because I'm all about science. So I don't know.
Just for a quick note,
Sure.
Riverdale is gonna be a CW.
It is CW. Okay.
Makes sense.
So it does. It will have more of a Gossip Girl ness to it.
I don't know this TV show. I don't know CW. What's on this?
Well, CW does the
Flash
Flash.
and
It
Arrow.
does.
Hero.
Hero. It also does Vampire Diaries. It also does Supernatural. It does. Yeah, I mean that kind of a. So it's got that kind of
Beautiful people.
beautiful people in teen
lot of
angst.
beautiful
In teen
people.
angst. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think is that kind of a. Which to some degree matches up with Archie, right? I mean, there is a certain amount of that kind of drama, I mean, is it Veronica or is it Betty? Is it that sort of stuff? Oh my God, the cheeseburgers are gone. So there could be all kinds of drama in there.
Yeah.
So, I can see that. I can see that. Cool. Anything else we want to talk about? We want to talk about what's coming out next week. What are we excited for next week?
Grayson 13 comes out.
Grayson.
Yeah.
Excited about that.
I'm looking forward to that just because I want to see. I'm getting nervous about the whole what is Batman and Robin Eternal done to that book. Hopefully nothing too much. So
It's
Well,
kind of a
next
slow week for me. Next week.
Next week, I still haven't seen what's gonna be up next week.
Batgirl 45, Batman 66 number 28, Cyborg number 4.
Hellboy and the BPRD 1953. Are you getting that, Mike?
Oh, yes. Yeah, I will.
Cool. It's just a one shot.
Okay. Thanks for pointing that out. I
Yeah.
probably would have looked it over then if it's long.
Yeah, it's Hellboy, the BPRD 1953, the Phantom Hand, and the Kelpie.
All right, and Green Arrow 46 is coming out. I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, I know I'm getting it, but yeah, I'm not as excited by it. Art Ops comes out, the next Vertigo book, and that book just sounds crazy pants. So I'm looking forward to that. Mike Allred
Island
on
number
art.
4.
Island is coming out.
Yeah.
The Marvel, always interesting to watch. All these new number ones going on.
Right.
Yeah, we got Angela, Queen of Hell.
I'm getting that.
Howling Commandos of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unbeatable
next-
Squirrel Girl.
Captain
You are
America
into
Sam Wilson, issue number 2
Yep.
comes out.
Even more
There's
controversy.
not any number one next week. Oh yeah, Squirrel actually.
Black Science 17, I see.
Yep.
Or any Image Comics.
There's a new Image number 1 called Black Magic.
Yeah.
Black
Getting
Magic.
that with Rutka on writing and Nicola Scott on
Is
art.
that the one that's like the big magazine
Well,
one?
you can get it. Issue 1 is in the magazine size or it's in the regular size. It's not, they're doing like they did with the issue 1 of the Fade Out. The first issue, you could get an oversized version of it and whatnot. But if you've been getting any Image books, just about every Image book has a sampling of that in the back of it, doesn't it? Or a lot of them do. It seems like a lot of them have. I guess the Fade Out didn't, but a lot of the others have examples of that. So
So which comic will you guys pick up next week for the Halloween Comic Fest?
Ooh, I haven't even looked to see what's coming out for that.
Ooh. they're gonna have a Harley Quinn issue 1 reprint from DC. Sabrina from Archie Comics. I think it's a very fun, small kind of stuff.
Yeah. Gotham by midnight next week, Travis.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, they got a couple more issues of that left.
I got my number 10, and I think that might be the end of an arc, and I don't know what's going on with that comic after that. Doc Strange, number 2, is coming out.
So it comes out also? Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm debating a Hercules. I gotta flip through that one. Hercules number 1.
I've never been a big fan of the Marvel Hercules, so I know I'll be not getting it.
I've been hit and miss. I've had a couple of series of his that I like. So.
All-Star Section 8.
For next week we got the Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
For the Comic Fest, a special issue of Doctor Strange. We've got a Batman Adventure special. The Harley Quinn Grim Tales of Terror from Zenscope.
Harley Quinn?
Yeah, issue 1.
Oh, Grim Tales of Terror, it's a different book. Okay, I got you.
Right,
I thought you meant Harley Quinn. I was like, what?
Sorry.
No, you're okay, man. It's alright.
Pretty excited for this small...
Yeah, I don't have a shop, so my books all get sent to me, so I won't be protecting any of those. So
you have the chain store. You can see what the chain store is going to do.
You know, I don't think they did anything last year for Halloween.
Oh, okay.
But I'll be checking it out because I have to go to the chain store because I'm gonna get Sam Wilson Captain America number 2 because I bought it off the shelf, so I have to get number 2 off the shelf too. So I'll be.
I was wondering your little shop, Travis, the tattoo/comic shop. Did that ever end up closing its door?
You know, it must still be there because I went to a restaurant across the street from the tattoo shop. And I had to park on the side of the street that the tattoo shop was on, and I noticed they had comic book stuff kind of intermixed amongst their advertising for the tattoo shop. So I'm guessing it's still there. I haven't been back into it, just because I have a hard time not pulling faces when I'm in there when he says some of the stuff he says and whatnot. Great, nice guy and whatnot, but I don't understand how the shop could possibly function with the way he wants to try and run it. So.
Yeah. Selling his own personal comics and upset about it. Yeah. Right,
and refusing to do pull lists.
Yeah.
And the pull list to me, I think that would be a fundamental part of running a comic book shop would be having pull lists because that's your guaranteed sales. I mean, really, that's somebody saying I want this stuff. Yeah. If you aren't willing to do that, I don't understand how you can be a comic book shop. But really, you're just a novelty store that mostly sells comic paraphernalia. And sometimes comic shops is really what it is. So, yeah, I'll stick with my chain store, I guess.
All right.
It's not worth the hassle of trying to find parking in downtown to try and get in there. So.
Yeah,
you're right.
I've got like 3 different stores close to my house, so I got like plenty of choice.
Nice.
Other than that, when I mean close to my house, I mean I can go with my car. Other than that, I can go with Subway, and I've got like almost 15.
Wow.
Is it 15? I can go? No, 10.
Yeah.
I'll go with 10.
Yeah.
Basically 10 comic shops around Montreal, basically on the all island, and I still haven't gone to all of them. There's few that are so like on the other side of the island I've never been to because even the subway don't go there. So I need to take the subway stop and then take a bus and then ride to that place.
Wow.
So yeah, it's not all the island, which is downtown Montreal, where all the club and the prostitutes are.
So that's amazing. That must mean there must be a lot of people who read comics in your area because there's how else would that many shops be able to function, right?
Yeah.
So to me, that's just cool that you live someplace where there's that many people who are consuming.
But it's because it's downtown and. If I actually search around, which not on the island of Montreal, but around, there's no comic store.
Yeah.
Nowhere.
Just all right in the city.
Just in the city. And one of the stores where I go, which is the biggest store I ever went to, they've got thousands and thousands of comics. Mm-hmm. He got like 3 different rooms of comic books. and in the same building, there's another comic book store. In the same building, but it's not really a store. It's more like a storage place because that guy only go to Comic Cons and stuff like that. But in the same building, there's another big storage full of comic books. It's crazy.
So I'm gonna come visit you, Kevin.
Yeah.
Because my closest comic book shop is 150 miles away, and it doesn't have a whole lot of back issues. I mean, I almost have as many back issues as it has. So
the closest store to my house, the guy only sells Marvel comics and DC and few Image like Walking Dead.
Sure.
That's it. But if I really want something like more indie, I don't have any indie comics here. I don't have that much Dark Horse. I saw a lot of people having that like a black bandana kind of logo kind of stuff.
Black mask. Yeah,
I don't have those. I don't have Dark Circle. I have few Archie. So it's mostly Marvel and DC here.
Sure.
Road trip.
That's been the model. That's been the model, I think, for most stores for a very long time is stick with the big two because those are safe. But I think people are going to have to start changing their business model and start accepting some of these independent comics because I don't know anybody anymore who just reads Marvel and just reads DC or just those two. I just don't. But 4 years ago, 5 years ago, when I first started doing YouTube videos and started talking to people, I knew lots of people that literally that's all they read. So in the span of 3 or 4 years, like I said, I don't know anybody who doesn't read everything.
It's because I think the big part of it was The Walking Dead. Walking Dead like introduced indie comics.
Yeah.
Right now, I don't know if you guys follow a lot, but Image is signed for so many different TV shows. Lazarus.
Sure.
I don't know other. I don't have it in mind, but I've seen a lot of TV show based on Image comics.
Yep.
It's crazy.
Yep.
It's fun to read. Also, it's more serious. It's you go like in the opposite way of superhero stuff.
Yeah. For sure. A lot of stuff out there. I like the superhero genre for the superhero genre.
Yeah.
I like the fact that comics can explore. You basically, you name it, there's probably a comic out there somewhere, that explores it. So, good stuff. Okay, well, I think we're gonna call it a night. I thank you guys for coming on. Thanks for coming on, Kevin. Good to have you on.
You're welcome.
Next week is Halloween. So.
Got my pumpkin.
And Halloween Comic Fest, though.
And right, if you've got a local store, hopefully your store is celebrating Halloween with the Comic Fest. That'll be awesome. And hopefully we'll see some of you here on Halloween. I know it will be terribly frightening. I have the most traumatic costume to wear. It's going to be so awesome. I really look forward to it. I have nailed it this year, so pretty excited about it. So until then, have a great week, everybody. Have an awesome Comic Book Wednesday, and we'll be back next Saturday. Have a good night.
Bye.